up, Woodward. We are starting off your day with a brand new crew. Meet Broder.
I can't control my arms sometimes. My limbs are just kind of flying.
Detroit Kool-Aid.
Fired up!
Y'all got Kool-Aid
I'm
hot.
fired up! But with the Wake Up Woodward crew, he's actually a part of the family.
Flannel Sam.
Ask me about my wiener. Okay.
Along with JB and KG. Wake Up Woodward gets you all of your Detroit sports talk. Every morning, 8 to 10 a.m. Live on Woodward Sports. A show for Detroit, by Detroit, with people from Detroit. Tell Siri to set an alarm. Because it's time to Wake Up Woodward.
Let me tell you right now, the Detroit Tigers are making a deep, deep playoff run. The way they played against the Royals tonight, we got this shit. World Series, baby. Woodward Sports. Make the
Matthew
bet.
Kruger.
We out, baby.
Shit out. Go ahead.
My bad. I was just playing a video real quick.
Well, what up, though, people? It's Wake Up Woodward. We appreciate you guys for kicking off the day with the WUW Crew. It's your boy Brandon, a.k.a. Detroit Kool-Aid. And right there is the vet of the squad. That is Flannel Sam. How you doing this morning? I love the Michigan, all the Michigan swag going on over there.
Well, I mean, how could we not be doing great today? The Tigers are a half game back of the final wild card spot, and oh, by the way, they're only 2 games back of the 5th seed of the second wild card spot, courtesy of sweeping the Kansas City Royals at Kansas City. Are you kidding me?
And you made a proclamation yesterday, and that was, if they win,
they are making the playoffs. They're a half game out. The Twins are vomiting all over themselves every night, finding new ways to lose.
And you know what? The next time you write your godson Riley Greene his birthday check, make it out for $24 for each one of them home runs.
Hey, man. I mean, good thing it's $1 per home run. That's about all I can afford right now. But with Riley Greene, I might even make it a few dollars a home run. But shout out to the Tigers, of course.
Shout out to the Tigers. And you know what? When you're talking about Tigers, we got to talk about our credentialed Tigers and our Lions reporter and writer, that is
Mr.
Matthew.
Tigers. Good morning. We
Matthew
5
Broder.
games back.
Matthew Broder,
Let's
everybody.
go.
Mr. Southpaw himself. Tigers got you fired up?
Oh, yeah.
Let's
oh, yeah.
rock. Shout out to that dude, Justin. Intern Chase is in the building as well. You know, you're repping the Detroit Zoo, that new logo. I actually dig it, man. Shout out to you. And our elite booth in the sound booth, we got Detroit's #1 draft pick. That is KG, a.k.a. Black Hollywood. How you doing, brother?
Hey, I'm good, man. You can tell it's Thursday, man. You can definitely tell we almost to the end of the week. But, hey, we getting here, though. But, hey, shout out to the Tigers. Great game last night. Just the resiliency on this team. This is actually real now, and I'm happy to be a part of it, man. I am.
It's special. That's the word that I'm hoping we continue to use as this season continues to progress towards the playoffs. In the TD booth, that is JB Smooth, Woodward Sports' MVP. As much as I don't like that school, the hat's kind of dope.
Oh, school blows, but they're winning.
Oh, there's always haters. It's okay. It's okay. It's all right. There will always be haters, but you know what? At least we're not shuffling quarterbacks back and forth. Anyway, shout out to you guys. Shout out to the Tigers once again. They got that win last night, and I'm over here trying to fix KG's camera. Something's going on.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that.
It is fair, and you know what makes it that much easier to just kind of like, yeah, that's fair. The national championship.
Of course.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
But, Mr. Matthew Broder, would you like to tell the people what we are discussing today?
Yeah, Tigers Lions, baby, all day long. Straight from start to finish.
Hey, let's jump into it. We talked about it a little bit at the start of the show. The Detroit Tigers, man.
Yep.
This feeling is epic, and I as this thing continues to go, I'm getting the feeling that they're actually going to do what the Red Wings didn't do and get into this playoffs.
Well,
hot.
We have an entire segment on Tarik Skubal coming up because it's an all-encompassing topic. We talk about a Cy Young, we talk about last night, so I want to focus on one player in particular to start with. Yesterday, I was tuning into Big D Energy, as I usually do, because, you know, I'm kind of a six-man on that show. And they were talking about Neil Rule and Spencer Raxter, that if the Tigers are going to achieve their goals of making the playoffs, you need your stars to play big. And the star hitter, the one all-star position player, of course, was one Riley Greene. And what did Riley Greene do in the third inning with the score tied at 1? Hit an absolute moonshot home run off of Alec Marsh, a pitcher that I told you that the Tigers would be able to get to. And Riley Greene, after having a tough first at-bat, just absolutely crushed a home run to give the Tigers a lead, which they would never relinquish. And speaking of Riley Greene, the deserving all-star, shout out Terry Foster, I love the way he's been playing this week in high leverage moments. Look at the win on Sunday against the Orioles. He hit 2 home runs and 3 RBIs in a 4-2 win. And then yesterday he had the insurance RBI single in the top of the 10th, in which in extra innings insurance singles are certainly huge. So I just want to give flowers to Riley Greene, who is playing like an all-star, and he is coming through when he finally gets to play in some high leverage games.
Yeah, and you know what? Shout out to IT Hips with the 9.99 super chat. He says, "Good morning, WSN crew, and thanks for all you do."
Morning.
Now, good morning to you, IT Hips. Now, on to the Tigers, as words can't even describe what this team is doing right now. Let's freaking go and hope to see a sold-out Comerica next week. And no, that wasn't Kool-Aid edited. He did type out freaking, and I'm loving the energy.
As long as it ain't
IT
a freak off, we good.
I'm loving it. And you know what I found quite interesting too? One flannel sound.
Yes.
When I was looking through the wild card standings, the last 10, do you realize that the Detroit Tigers, and let me look at this and look at this again, are the only team over 500 right now in their last 10 in the wild card?
Yep.
They're 8-10, 8-2. The next closest teams are 5-5. The teams ahead of them: Baltimore 2-8, Kansas City 4-6, Minnesota 4-6. And the Detroit Tigers had a lot to do with all of their records.
You know what? And that's how you make up ground. You need to get on an insane hot streak with which the Tigers are undoubtedly on, and you need some teams to collapse and fold. And fortunately for the Tigers, when it comes to the Royals, you got to play them directly, so you got to pick up 3 games courtesy of that sweep. But I mentioned it earlier. The Twins game, I had a couple of nervous moments. When they took that 4-2 lead in the top of the 10th, I'm like, I wasn't feeling so good, but, you know, the Twins did what the Twins often do, at least at this time of the year. Just find new ways to lose in biblical fashion. If I was a Twins fan right now, I think I'd have gray hair right now. And I was also worried because you can point to the Twins' downfall or their streak of bad baseball. You can point to some injuries. Carlos Correa's been out, Byron Buxton has been out, and Carlos Correa's back. And he tried to put on his Superman cape and save the season for the Twins. He had all 4 of their RBIs. He had 3 hits, but it did not matter because the Twins really don't pitch that well, and their bullpen is very unreliable, and it proved so last night. Don't you just love when you can actually root for the Guardians and not root against them? It feels kind of dirty, but the Guardians are they're such an annoyance.
It was a good type of dirty.
Well, at least last night it was. But the Guardians, they've been the class of the AL Central for so long, and it's coincided with a time in which the Tigers have been so bad. So naturally, we kind of all hate the Guardians, as we should. However, it just feels good to root for them because they always find ways to win these regular season games, and I love that it benefits the Tigers for once.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to Burn. I like the $5 super chat. Thank you guys so much for the early support.
Yes.
I just want to take a moment to acknowledge the real reason Tigers are back. The pizza spear, obviously.
Clearly.
Not 5 rookies blossoming at once.
No, but
Shout out to the pizza spear. How do we get one of those in here?
We'll see. I mean, I think if they make the playoffs, there should be a way to get a pizza spear in here. But speaking
Especially for the watch parties.
Speaking of things that directly correlated with the Tigers being better, how about the old Trey Sweeney for Javi Baez shortstop switch? How about that? I mean, we obviously... Hey, yes. Shout out Ben Verlander and our very own Tom Mazaway. When is Maz going to apologize? We shall see.
He said he wasn't. He's standing on
when
business.
the guys are up in the bigs in 3 years, he says.
Hey, it's almost as if Trey Sweeney isn't in the big leagues right now.
Weird.
I mean, come on. It isn't as if he had a huge 2-run double in the top of the 3rd to give the Tigers all the insurance runs that they would need, huh?
Yeah.
Hey. But shout out that Trey Sweeney trade for and Tyron Lorenzo for Jack Flaherty. And Broder, you put something on social media last night that I find very, very interesting. Do you care to elaborate?
Yeah, you know, if you go back and you redo that trade and it's just Flaherty for Sweeney straight up, already a win.
Yep.
Already a win. To say it's an F, to say that deadline's an F is an absolute joke. And it is emotional, everyone who did it. But no, Trey Sweeney has played so well and filled in for Javi Baez. Like, that trade triggered that move, too. And Javi Baez was still playing a couple games, and they were, seemingly trying to figure out what to do with him. The injury caused him to miss the rest of the season. But we see addition by subtraction. Not only was the team better with Javi Baez not playing, Neil Rule likes to say, they're playing with 27 outs now and not 24. So they're better just because of that. But Trey Sweeney, his defense is much better than any shortstop we've had in there in several years. And then to factor in that Teheran Lorenzo is the Tigers' number 6 prospect and going to be a future star, possibly. Home run.
Hey,
F? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And you know what?
Golly, stubborn.
Matt Broder, listen, brother, we already know what Skubal's doing this season, that he's effectively locked things down in this Cy Young race. But how proud are you to see kind of the bullpen still, go 3 innings and pick them up right after that? 3 strikeouts, and as well as Vest ending the game with a strikeout as well. They really held it down to make sure this Tigers team could come out with the victory.
Yeah, it's been magical. Like this, it's hard to compute. It's been a magical season. Yeah. Not every team could pull this off. You have to have the right manager and the right pitching coach, and not just the right players, but the right players at certain points of their career where they're willing to do whatever it takes to win. It's not a veteran trying to preserve his arm and I'm just a closer or I'm just an 8th inning guy. It's Tyler Holton. Hey, whenever you need me to start in the 4th inning, in the 9th inning, I'm in. And it's guys like Hanafy, Gunther, Will Vest stepping in to close the game out last night. People just keep stepping up and picking their brothers up. It's so much fun to watch.
You love it how you can shuffle. The bullpen is so deep because last night you saw Bo Brisky, Tyler Holton, and Jason Foley. I mean, 2 nights ago you saw that. And then last night you saw Brendan Hanafy, Sean Gunther, and Will Vest. Brendan Hanafy and Sean Gunther are guys that if you float in and out of the team, you might not even know who they are. And they certainly weren't a part of the team's plans at the beginning of the year, or so you thought. They certainly have become that. And another angle to last night's game in which I'm really proud of their bullpen. So Brendan Hanafy works 2 relatively, stress-free innings, the 6th and the 7th. In the bottom of the 8th, Bobby Witt leads off with a pop-up. You induce Bobby Witt into a pop-up, but there's some miscommunication in shallow left field between the third base shortstop and left fielder, and the ball drops for a double. And then Hanafy gives up a single to Salvador Perez to cut the Tigers' lead to 2. What does Sean Gunther come in and do? Double play immediately. Just erases that completely, gets out of the 8th, gets an out in the 9th, and then Will Vest closes it out. So that's what I love, too, about this Tigers team. They faced a little bit of adversity. You get Bobby Witt to pop out, and you didn't get him out. That's not a good sign. But they overcame. They've overcame everything. They overcame a 4-0 deficit in Game 1. They overcame Cole Reagan's badly out-pitching Casey Mize in Game 2. And then in Game 3, when you finally had the starting pitching matchup, they got the lead early, and they were able to withstand a defensive error, or not a technical error, but a defensive mistake in the bottom of the 8th. You love to see it. This team does not quit.
That's why I am very, very eager to see this team make the playoffs. Just to see how they're winning games right now against the teams that we thought would be tough for them to do that. It's like, you know what? Get in there and let's have some fun.
Get in there and let's have some fun. And I just want to say one more thing about the Jack Flaherty, Trey Sweeney trade. I don't want to come across as we're dumping on Jack Flaherty. The trade was a win-win. Jack Flaherty has been good for the Dodgers, and he's going to help them as they go on their postseason run. But Trey Sweeney, the point is, and why Matt Broder has a leg to stand on if you're just talking about Sweeney for Flaherty, Trey Sweeney hasn't been amazing or anything like that. He still has an under 700 OPS himself, but defensively, he's a big upgrade over Javi. And offensively, like a 690 OPS looks like an MVP compared to what the Tigers have been dealing with these last few years. So shout out to Trey Sweeney. Shout out to Scott Harris, by the way, in putting his imprint on this team. When it's a lot of Al Avila players, Scott Harris is still making his mark. You love to see it.
Yeah, it's beautiful times. Let's get it going, man. October in the D. I don't even understand how fun that would be. I know that we were sitting here playing that old April in the D song, I think just a couple months ago on the show, thinking about how awesome it would be, because April in the D does represent something different. That means that our teams are all successful. But with kind of renewed hope for the Red Wings, for the Tigers, hopefully for the Detroit Pistons, while the Detroit Lions are in the middle of a Super Bowl expected season, you know what? Let's rock, man.
Absolutely. And where else you can rock your fitness is Planet Fitness. Fitness that fits your budget.
Don't even need a rock wall.
No matter where, don't even need a rock wall. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 in Metro Detroit and thousands more throughout the world. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment, friendly, knowledgeable staff, and a totally judgment-free atmosphere. Did you know that all Planet Fitness memberships include fitness training for no extra cost? Want all the perks? Upgrade to the PF Black Card and enjoy use of amenities such as unlimited use of the Black Card Spa featuring hydro massage, massage chairs, and total body enhancement, and more, along with access to over 2,500 locations worldwide and unlimited guest privileges. For more information or to join today, visit your local Planet Fitness or planetfitness.com.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda. A chef for Lola, really?
Yeah. Commentary.
You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody!
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
That was crazy, bro. That Jace Young slide in the third, that shit was fire too.
So just to get the heated steering wheel, I also had the spring for the bigger rims.
Yeah, that's how they get you. Those upgrades will cost you an arm and a leg every time.
Hey, new car crew, how'd it go this weekend? I got a great deal on mine.
How?
I went to Randy Wise, not those other guys. They got me in a great new ride, and they didn't break my budget. Hey, could you pass me the sugar?
How?
Never mind.
He made the wise choice.
Yep.
Make the wise choice at randywisechevy.com.
Dealing with divorce, child custody, visitation, or other family law issues, Kevin and Catherine at KDK Law in Birmingham will have your back with 10 plus years of experience and 24/7 availability. Scan the QR code on the screen or call 248-971-0476. Say Woodward Sports sent you and KDK will pay your filing fee. KDK Law, they've got your back.
KDK Law got your back. Wake Up Woodward Sports got your back. Chat family, we hope that you guys have our back. Thank you guys for kicking off your day with the WUW Crew. And we're talking about these Detroit Tigers, man. They've just inserted themselves at the front of, I think, every headline right now. In the middle of a wild card race, just a half game back of the Twins. The more and more that I'm starting to think about this, the more and more I'm wondering, did they know that this was going to happen? They hired Jason Benetti. They keep Skubal. They effectively buy by going younger, by selling, and here they are. They got AJ Hinch, somebody that we've all said, if there's anybody that can find a way to do it with this type of a roster, it would be him.
There's never a moment in time where I doubted AJ Hinch. Let that be known, people. Never once did I ever doubt AJ. I'm kidding, of course. But when you need a win the most, who would you rather have on the mound than Tarik Skubal?
Yeah.
And Tarik Skubal, it wasn't perfect. The Royals were able to work some deep counts. His pitch count got up a little bit, 95 through 5 innings. But Tarik Skubal, besides for that 1 run allowed in the first, was pretty damn good the rest of the way. 5 innings, 0 earned runs, 7 strikeouts, 2 strikeouts of Bobby Witt Jr., which I absolutely love to see. Finished him off both times on like 95 mile an hour and above high fastballs. Bobby Witt Jr. in the third worked a 9-pitch at-bat, and Tarik Skubal still finished him off with a 99 mile per hour high fastball that Bobby Witt whiffed at. You'll love to see it. Broder, what did you think of Tarik Skubal's start last night, and how important was it for him to do it in such a high leverage moment?
It was so important. I thought that performance, although not his best of the year, that's not exactly what I pictured when we were talking yesterday. Like he can go out and just completely lock up the Cy Young by going and having a dominant performance. And in my head, I'm thinking, 8-9 innings of shutout ball, 1 hit, and it's like no one else needed to do anything. It wasn't that crisp. His changeup wasn't working that well, but he battled and he competed, and he only gave you, 5 innings?
Yeah.
But we came up in the biggest moments, whether it's Bobby Witt in the first or the third inning, or it's Salvo Perez to end the 5th. Like, that's his arch nemesis. That's the guy who's hit Skubal of anybody in the entire major leagues. He's hit Skubal the best. So to shut him down like that, a perfect pitch, that's what you want your aces to do. That's what Cy Young winners do. And he did it. He did it when we needed him the most.
You know what? And I guess that's the question. Obviously, we went into this game believing that this is his award to lose. And I believe when you talk about the narratives, you bring up some really good narratives. There are some details just within the game that go beyond just the win. And I like that you highlight the fact that he was able to go in there and kind of slay some personal demons en route to keeping the Detroit Tigers alive. Not just alive, but making strides in the wild card race. Skubal, is this his award to lose at this point? It's done.
It's locked up.
Put his name on there.
Turn the key, close the door. It's locked up.
Yeah.
It's done.
And
Cy Young winner, if he loses it, it's a travesty.
I don't know sometimes if I'm just being a slappy. I know you're going to have the numbers. I know you're going to have the experience. And so it's like, you know what? Let me just make sure that I'm tempering this thing.
Hit it.
Like flannel.
No, you're not tempering anything. And I got some I've got some numbers for you to the shock of absolutely no one. Right now, Tarik Skubal does lead the American League in all 3 pitching Triple Crown categories. He's got the most wins, the best ERA, and the most strikeouts. And you know what's great about this series, too?
What up, though?
Not only did Tarik Skubal help himself last night in his quest for the pitching Triple Crown and for the Cy Young, the Tigers have indirectly and directly helped Tarik Skubal. Think about this. Tarik Skubal has 17 wins. Do you know one of the guys who has 16? Seth Lugo.
Mm-hmm.
The Tigers, they making that comeback against Seth Lugo after going down 4-0 helped keep Seth Lugo's win total at 16, and Tarik Skubal was able to then break that tie and get to 17. You absolutely love to see that. The ERA title, that's pretty much locked up. He's at 248. The next highest is 288. How about strikeouts? Tarik Skubal is first with 221, 4 in front of Cole Ragans. Cole Ragans pitched against the Tigers and pitched very well, although they didn't win. You just hate to see it. Cole Ragans had 6 strikeouts in 7 innings, which is fine. However, Cole Ragans' strikeout per 9 innings ratio this year is 10.8 per 9. That means that Cole Ragans averages more than a strikeout per inning, which means that the Tigers struck out less than what Cole Ragans usually does to opponents, which gives an opening for Tarik Skubal to take the lead in the strikeout race as well. So not only did Tarik Skubal help himself, but the Tigers' offense helped out Tarik Skubal as well. You love to see it. It's like porn to me bringing that up. Come on, how could you not love that? It's
I was about to say, that's a dish I like to eat.
Hey, yo.
If I would have said it right, it would have been like, that's a dish I like to eat. That's porn to me.
It is though, because baseball is the ultimate team game. Think about it. With wins, for example.
Gosh.
Tarik Skubal, in theory, could pitch perfect, and they still don't win. But the team, guys like Riley Greene, guys like Trey Sweeney, guys like Jake Rogers, even with that nice swinging bunt, shout out Just a Fan.
And the tag up.
Were able to get Tarik Skubal the requisite run support. And, you know, the Tigers were able to come back against Seth Lugo, so you absolutely love to see it. That's why this series is amazing in more ways than one, because on its own, going into Kansas City and sweeping the Royals, that's awesome no matter when you do it. But to do it in this high leverage of a situation, you just love to see it.
You're right, it's sexy. It's sexy. Shout out to Jordan Lionheart in the chat, $10 super chat. LFG Tigers. I love the emotion Skubal shows at the end of his day every time. Shows how much he cares. Also, Wings need to get this cider deal done. My heart can't take it. Oh, man.
You guys talking about trading Skubal in the chat, you're taking everything out of context, and you guys are not looking very good. You guys aren't looking very good. But let's talk about the value in keeping Skubal on the staff, whether it's smart long-term or not. He's an example every single day for this entire pitching staff that we keep talking about, bullpen pitchers included. The buy-in to Chris Fetter, Robin Lund, and Juan Nieves' pitching development program, the buy-in to how they break down pitching, the analytics they use, actually putting those into motion. Hey, I'm Skubal. I'm going to get rid of my favorite pitch, the splitter, and I'm going to buy into this changeup that Fetter's teaching me. It's things like that all these young pitchers, they're coming to the ballpark every single day. And in a 162-game season, which is very long, they're coming and seeing Skubal do his work and dominate, and they want a piece of that. They want to follow his work ethic and what he's doing with Fetter every day. That when you can go to the ballpark and see one of your teammates do that, you see what it looks like. You see him about to get $300-500 million. You buy in.
And you know what you love too about last night in Tarik Skubal, because you mentioned it and I kind of mentioned it. His off-speed stuff wasn't looking his best last night. Yeah. But nobody can hit Tarik Skubal's fastball when he spots it well. You know how I know that? Because Bobby Witt Jr. couldn't do it. And if Bobby Witt Jr. can't do it, damn near nobody can. That was just an example of a matchup of the battle, the clash of the Titans. And Tarik Skubal came out on top. And even you mentioned it too as well. The bottom of the fifth, getting Salvador Perez when he was the tying run to strike out as well. Salvador Perez, how many times has he done damage against the Tigers over the years?
A lot. More than Nelson Cruz.
He is an absolute Tigers murderer. But Tarik Skubal was like, not today. We've got a playoff run to get on. Even though Salvador Perez, it's always a tough at-bat, it's always a tough matchup for any pitcher, even Tarik Skubal, he won the battle. He slayed the dragons that were Bobby Witt Jr. and Salvador Perez, even though he didn't have his best off-speed stuff, because his fastball, when he spots it well, nobody can hit it.
Nobody.
Barry Bonds couldn't hit it. Ted Williams couldn't hit it.
I'm gonna let a little time go by before I No, but I know what you're saying, and it's why I love watching him. Why I said he's a southpaw version of Roger Clemens, or Roger Clemens-like. When he doesn't have his best stuff, he's a bulldog. He goes up on the mound, and here's a fastball. It's coming right down the middle, right on the corner. I'm still going to beat you. That's why I love watching this man compete. And you saw the energy he let out with that yell after he struck out Perez. That's what this team needs right now.
And you talk about that buy-in from the other guys. Obviously, Fetter is doing an amazing job. I think that you buy in if you're a pitcher regardless. It's Fetter. But if Skubal is also buying in as well as an absolute guy, he's about to get the bag. He's about to get the Cy Young. He's helping the Tigers potentially get into the wild card. Yeah, that goes a long way. And then we saw this thing not just trickle down to the young players on the current roster, but Max Clark was going wild on socials last night. Seeing the young guys in the minors across the different minor leagues buying in to this Detroit Tigers run. It's so dope to see, man.
I mean, Max Clark is probably thinking in a couple years, I'm going to be the guy that helps get Tarik Skubal some wins, because I am going to, in a couple years, enter my Rookie of the Year season and give Tarik Skubal all the run support that he needs. Ooh. I absolutely love to see it, because Max Clark, even though he's not with the big club yet, he still supports, and I think he would enjoy walking into a team that has maybe had some playoff experience already, and it looks like that's going to happen. I already guaranteed that if the Tigers won last night, they would make the playoffs, and I am not wavering, especially with the Minnesota Twins imploding on themselves.
Man, what a plan.
You just hate to see it.
What a plan. What a plan. Max Clark being able to kind of enter a situation that's more tailor-made for him to not have all the pressure on him. That would be dope. That would be really, really dope, man. But the Tigers, this energy is electric. I'm seeing everybody in the chat, man. Shout out to Dante151, $9.99 super chat. The Tigers are on a 4-game winning streak, and I was wrong about trading Skubal. I will admit it. Also, that play in the bottom of the ninth from Tork was insane. Pay Skubal his money now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, shout out to Tork as well, because he's somebody that, I'm still not sure about in terms of his future on the Detroit Tigers, but that catch in the bottom of the ninth was absolutely huge. I didn't know he had it in him, so shout out to Tork. And also, last night, what do we need to see more of from Tork? We need to see him have better command of the strike zone. He walked 3 times. When pitchers hits you out of the strike zone, you just take your walks and go to first base. And Tarik Skubal, Spencer Torkelson looks like he's maybe learning a thing or two and maybe making those adjustments that we badly need him to make.
Yeah, out of all the things that we could probably, there's little things here and there where we criticize AJ Hinch. This is one thing that it's proving true. Deja says Hinch never lost the locker room.
Oh, no. He is a psychology major at Stanford. Like he
knows what he's doing.
He literally was. So when you talk about managing egos and managing a locker room, that's never anything that I doubted when it comes to AJ Hinch. And I never doubted anything. Let the record show. Kidding, of course.
You know what? Motherfucker.
Kidding.
The most prepared man ever. I didn't know where AJ Hinch went. I didn't know what he was. Flannel does, though. Shout out to him, man. Hey, you know what? I can tell you about something that's the best. I'm just still thinking about the Detroit Tigers, man. They're the best, too. But Premier Pet Supply is hands down Michigan's best pet store. They offer you the same prices and all the conveniences of the online and big box retailers with one major difference. They've been family and locally owned for over 30-plus years, and they're carrying over 60 brands of food with nutrition experts to help you. Same day, local curbside and home delivery. Premier Pet Supply. Give your pet the best. Also, visit them online, premierpetsupply.com.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Hey, Detroit, on game day, wake up with Woodward and Maine, your source for all the insider information on the defending NFC North champions, your Detroit Lions. With insight from Detroit sports media legend Terry Foster and rising star Matt Broder. Get ready in Detroit every Sunday, 8 to 9 a.m. Woodward and Maine, brought to you by Tangerine Space Machine, Taller Your Local Long Drink, Sabbath Coffee, and Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. And then, of course, watch the pregame show. Look at those trustworthy men, Neil Rule and Sean Belegian. It's the New Holland Brewing Company pregame show. Every game day, Neil Rule and Sean Belegian bring you the best Lions pregame show. Sunday, 10 a.m. to noon on Woodward Sports. Live at Second Best Bar in Detroit. The latest injury reports, fantasy sit and starts, and the inside scoop on your Detroit Lions. Join us for every Sunday home games live at Second Best Bar in Detroit, your official guide to Lions game day. On Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports, brought to you by Tangerine Space Machine, Taller Your Local Long Drink, Sabbath Coffee, and Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey.
What up, though, people? We are back. It is Wake Up Woodward, and we appreciate you guys for kicking off your day with the crew, and it's been awesome. I'm so glad that from the start of the show, we have consistently covered these pro sports teams. One, hey, you know what? Let's give the people what they want. Someone has to cover our teams. And two, we love these squads, man, and it's dope to know that while the Tigers are getting hot right now and a playoff run is on the way, hopefully, hey, that we've kind of been on the ground level in the mix of it, man. Flannel and Broder have definitely brought some great Tigers coverage, and one of the things that has been hot since the trade deadline, especially, kind of is this youth movement. And Broder, I know you got some things cooked up for this segment.
Yeah, go ahead, kick it off.
Hey, let's ride.
Absolutely. So, how about Chris Fetter?
How about him?
We've got to give Chris Fetter his credit as well first, because he might be the most valuable non-manager coach in all of Major League Baseball right now. I mean, think about all of the success stories that we've seen that you can almost directly point to Chris Fetter, either reclamation projects or young guys stepping up out of nowhere. It all starts with Tarik Skubal, of course, who wasn't this from the beginning. You saw flashes last year in half a season, but this year he's absolutely turned into that Cy Young pitcher, the Cy Young that he is going to win. You've got Jack Flaherty as well. He's coming off a poor last couple of years, comes to Detroit, has an amazing first half of the season, completely revitalizes his career, and now the Tigers have a shortstop, at least this year, because of it. But it's not just those guys. It's guys like Brennan Hanafy and Sean Gunther, who nobody even knew who they were before the season, and now they're pitching in high-leverage situations and pitching well. And think about this as well. Ty Madden, Brant Herter, Reese Olson, and Cater Montero all struggled mightily in the minor leagues, particularly Ty Madden. Ty Madden's ERA in AAA was 8.32 this year. No, I did not stutter. It was 8.32. Absolutely atrocious. But all of those guys have came to the major leagues and have given you more than you could have ever asked for. I mean, Brant Herter, how many games has he opened? Ty Madden has came in and pitched well in 4 appearances. Reese Olson, you saw it at the end of last year, and you've seen it this season. Cater Montero, the last 2 starts, 14 innings pitched, 0 earned runs allowed. And Chris Fetter, he's got a lot to do with that, because a lot of these guys, especially when you talk about Flaherty and you talk about the young guys, they weren't this until they got to Detroit, or Flaherty had lost what he was and then regained it when he got to Detroit. So that's Chris Fetter for you, man. An absolute, he is the Ben Johnson of the Detroit Tigers.
Hey, let's rock. And you know what? The pitching has been obviously what they've been able to depend on all season. And with that hot start, I would like to believe that Chris Fetter definitely had something to do with that, with some of these pitchers pitching at the best levels of their careers. And what I ultimately like about this is that the Detroit Tigers, they've put a sure focus on not just the young players that they invest in, but how they surround them with the right types of players and the right types of positional coaches. When we talk about the Detroit Lions, and we talk a little bit more openly, lovingly about them and what they're doing, because we have the success that also proves it, we also talk about what they've done to identify the right types of positional coaches as well, like Tyrell Williams, like Hank Fraley, like KG over there, Kelvin Shepard.
Stop it.
You know, and so it's cool to see that the Detroit Tigers have people in place that can take advantage of this young talent that they have. It's looking like they've properly identified. And sometimes we don't know that unless you got those positional coaches that can come in here and help your players capitalize on their skills and their talents.
Well, when it comes to pitching and pitching coaches and what role that they play, I'm obviously somebody that can look at a correlation between players playing for the Tigers and players' numbers just getting exponentially better and looking the best that they've ever looked. But Matt Broder, you've got an interesting perspective because you were a college pitcher. How important is a pitching coach's role, and how important do you think Chris Fetter is to this Tigers team as somebody who has worked with a lot of pitching coaches in their career?
Yeah, as important as anything. And it just so happens to be even more perfect with this team because it's so young, because it's got guys on, 1-year contracts, because of the strategy that Fetter, Scott Harris, and this Tigers organization had put in place to build up the reputation of their new pitching development program, which is different than traditional pitching. Taking a little bit of everything. A.J. Hinch, a very analytical manager coming over from Houston, identified Fetter early on in his career as a coach throughout the minor leagues as someone who he can align with, and he can develop the pitching staff to pitch how he sees this team growing and developing. And there's only so much you can do early in a career, but we now see some of the not to take a page out of Bill Belichick's insane mouth, but we're enjoying the fruits of the labor now from work that they've put in over the last 2 years. You read off some of the stats of the players, their jumps from Toledo to the major leagues when they're with Fetter, Reese Olson, Ty Madden.
Yeah.
Did you say Ty Madden?
Oh, and Ty Madden was beyond atrocious in the minor leagues this year.
Like a 6.38 7.97 ERA in 79 innings in AAA this year. He's coming up. He's got a 2.5 ERA so far. Yep. It's about having the confidence in a pitcher, pitching coach, how you break down film, how you attack hitters, having the confidence to get rid of one of your best pitches and and approach each different hitter a different way. They're totally bought in, and I have belief in Chris Fetter because this is what his career pitching was like. I fortunately got to play with him his senior year at Michigan, and his development from his time as a freshman at Michigan to a senior, as a 6'7" starter, throwing low to mid 80s as a freshman, jumping up to 96 as a senior.
Nice.
It's not easy to do that as a guy. I brought up 6'7" for a reason. With long limbs, long arms, you got long legs. There's a lot that has to go right to be able to have the mechanics to consistently throw strikes, to consistently throw your pitches with conviction. He's done it to himself. He's been a student of his game. Now, as a pitching coach, he can bring that to the guys, and it's invaluable.
Don't you just love it? Numbers, pitching, and all of the idiosyncrasies of it. You absolutely love to see it. That's why I'm glad I can have this conversation with you, Mr. Matt Broder. But before we move on to the Detroit Lions, because they've got a big matchup coming up this Sunday at Arizona.
Yeah.
Should we give more credit to Michael Brdar, the Detroit Tigers hitting coach?
I think so. And I wanted to make sure to include him in this conversation because that was the loudest, or the fans were the loudest for his job more than anything at the beginning of the season. Fire the hitting coach. Who is the hitting coach? Why do they
People don't even know.
Exactly. Why do they need 3? Well, his name is Michael Brdar, and you see the difference that these hitters, this is a young team, the youngest in major leagues after the trade deadline, see their development over the entire season. We're talking Colt Keith. Remember how he struggled at the beginning? Learning to make adjustments, learning plate discipline. We see it from Parker Meadows. We see it from Riley Greene. Over the last 3 years, he's continued to improve, and his walk percentage continues to go up. Sam loves this part of Riley Greene's game because he can figure out how to get on base now without hitting the ball. Like Michael Brdar and what he's trying to institute across the entire organization, it aligns perfectly with Scott Harris, and it's about plate discipline, getting your pitch and hitting it hard.
You mentioned pretty much every name that I was going to mention. Riley Greene and Kerry Carpenter have absolutely taken the leaps that you needed them to take. I think Kerry Carpenter has been even more than you expected. I mean, I know he hasn't played as much as you'd like, but a 900 OPS guy in any sample size, that's pretty damn amazing, and it's damn near like 80 games at this point. They've both taken a leap. You look at Parker Meadows, for example. I mean, Parker Meadows is really one of the shining stars of this, maybe the shiniest of the shiny stars in terms of this Tigers run to the wild card. Ever since he came back from being sent down to AAA and then that injury, 870 OPS. Even Spencer Torkelson, somebody who we still might bury at some point, but we were almost positive may never really be a contributing member of the Tigers again when he got sent down. He's got a 781 OPS since being brought back, and as I said before, 3 walks last night goes a long way with me because Spencer Torkelson, one of his weaknesses is I thought he swung at too many bad pitches. You got to take him. You got to take your trip to first base, and then Colt Keith. It's more of a inter-season adjustment because his end of March and entirety of April, his numbers were absolutely awful. He had some bad luck, but he certainly wasn't great or anything, and a lot of us had some questions about him, including yours truly. But right now, would you believe that Colt Keith leads the Tigers in batting average and hits? He does.
Sheesh. He
does. Ever since April, he's been damn near an all-star level player. So you got to give credit to Michael Brdar and those players for being coachable, being willing to make adjustments, and what do you know? The Tigers are good, and their offense is really exciting to watch, and it's pretty damn good as well.
Yep, and they got something going on there within that team where these guys have believed, regardless of if they went on losing streaks, regardless of if it looked bleak, while the bats were absolutely nowhere to be found, and we thought, you know what, this team is going to have to go into the offseason and add like 5 of them things. But this squad, man, they've continued to listen to whatever the message is coming from the coaching staffs. They've continued to improve, and here they are right now.
And it's putting the pressure on Chris Illich and ownership. Woo. Maybe a year early. All right, we got dudes. Go out and supplement. Like, you better get rid of Javi Baez, and that will be the big spend of the offseason. Sorry, fans. It's going to be another year for a big, big spend, but it better be Skubal soon, and it better be some other supplemental pieces because we got a young team that's ready to play.
Hey, but in the meantime, as I always said, get buy out Javi Baez, and if you don't want to spend a lot of money, you already know where I'm going with this.
Nope.
Jesse M. Effin Winker.
Wink show.
And if you think it's just a funny bit, every single person in this room agrees that having a Jesse Winker would help this team.
Yeah.
And he's
And
cheap.
And the WUW Crew show.
Oh. Hey.
I'm all for it. It's a win all the way around.
I'd be all bricked up over Jesse. I get bricked up over Jesse Winker's walks.
Man.
And walk-off home runs and WWE-style celebrations. If you want it, Jesse Winker can do it. But that's neither here nor there. The Tigers, they've got aspirations that can be met this season. And once you get into the playoffs, you just never know. Unfortunately, the Tigers know all too well about that in 06 against those bastards from St. Louis who shouldn't even been in the playoffs. But I digress.
Oh, man. Just get there because it opens up, like Broder just pontificated there, it opens up a world of madness that, you know what? Chris Illich, you're going to have to do something. You're going to have to do something. Tigers fever is in the air, and so is Lions. And you know what? Fuel your Lions fandom with the perfect cup and become a subscriber of Sabbath Coffee Roasters. Whether you are gearing up for a big game or savoring a quiet moment, Sabbath Coffee Roasters has you covered with fresh, locally roasted specialty coffee delivered right to your door. Head to www.sabbathcoffeeroasters.com. Choose your favorite roast. Use code Woodward to get 25% off your first subscription offer. Awake and unwind. Support local and enjoy game day right with Sabbath Coffee Roasters.
So just to get the heated steering wheel, I also had the spring for the bigger rims.
Yeah, that's how they get you. Those upgrades will cost you an arm and a leg every time.
Hey, new car crew, how'd it go this weekend? I got a great deal on mine.
How?
I went to Randy Wise, not those other guys. They got me in a great new ride, and they didn't break my budget. Hey, could you pass me the sugar?
How?
Never mind.
He made the wise choice.
Yep.
Make the wise choice at randywisechevy.com.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
At Planet Fitness, you can get everything you need for just $1 down.
Try out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Hey, y'all better get on these free fitness training sessions from Planet Fitness.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
Join Planet Fitness today and get everything you need for just $1 down. $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends Thursday, July 18th.
The countdown to kickoff is here. Your Detroit Lions are ready for another season of grit. Woodward Sports is your #1 destination for all breaking news and Lions coverage. We are Detroit's #1 sports network. We are Woodward Sports.
The Tangerine Space Machine is the easy drinking IPA with out of this world flavor. It's smooth, it's juicy, with a refreshing crushability taste that will take your taste buds to the moon. I'm telling you right now. All the adjectives right now. The Tangerine Space Machine. Grab yourself a can of this intergalactic haze of goodness. The official beer of the outer space, brewed by New Holland Brewing Company, straight out of Holland, Michigan.
And let me tell you about something awesome. It's where a guy can be a guy and get an amazing haircut. That is Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. All you got to do is stop in, sit back, and relax, and let one of Lady Jane's talented stylists make you look and feel great. Walk in anytime, 7 days a week. Lady Jane's, it is wicked awesome. And we are back. Ooh, graphic room. Shout out to the Genius Room. Noah and Ryan have been cooking up, man. I hope the sponsors are, they definitely are getting theirs worth. But welcome back. It is Wake Up Woodward. We appreciate you guys for kicking off the day with us. A lot of Tigers to start the show, and rightfully so. And now we are shifting gears towards the Detroit Lions. They faced the Cardinals in week 3. And before the season, we all identified this game as a potential trap game. Or at least I thought so. I thought, you know what? That's one to keep your eye on. The recipes, man. Kyler Murray as the mobile quarterback. And now you're looking at Harrison going out there and getting crazy from the wide receiver position last week.
Oh, yeah.
Week 3 showdown. Just off first thought, man. How are you feeling about Lions and Cardinals this week?
Well, I want to start with the offensive side of the ball because I think there's a lot of things that the Lions can clean up, and I have full confidence that the Arizona Cardinals defense is not going to be able to do anything about it as long as the Lions play their game. I mean, the Cardinals, they've got some players who you respect, like a Dennis Gardeck is a really good pass rusher. Mac Wilson has gotten his shot in Arizona and has been really good for them as a middle linebacker. And then, of course, Budda Baker, the multiple-time All-Pro and the multiple-time Pro Bowler. They're formidable guys, but I think this is more about the Lions just getting back to what they do best. The first thing that they absolutely need to do is run the damn ball. Because we saw last week in a game in which it was a one-score game pretty much throughout, the Lions doubled their amount of passes to runs, 56-27, even though when you look at the numbers, when you look at how particularly they were getting Jahmyr Gibbs involved in the running game in the second half, the Lions have ran the ball effectively. And on the season, despite going away from it in the game against the Bucs, they're 9th in the NFL in rushing yards per game and 8th in yards per carry at 5.2. So you definitely want to do that more if you're the Detroit Lions. And that, to me, was a Ben Johnson issue. And I don't think that Ben Johnson will have 2 bad games in a row as a coordinator because you didn't see that from him last year. You know how I know? Because they never lost 2 games in a row. The second way that I think the Lions really need to get back to their roots, just get back to the basics, is work the middle of the field. I got to give some credit to Easy from the Woodward Heavyweights because he did some pretty in-depth, I would say, work on some of the film from the Lions game, and he actually put one in the Woodward Sports group chat, and then he sent a few to me just privately because me and Easy were. I respect what he does in terms of breaking down film, and there's a couple of plays in which the middle of the field was open and Jared Goff just made poor decisions. And we all know that Jared Goff is another one that is probably not going to have 2 bad games in a row. And I think if their offense is functioning, the Cardinals won't be able to do anything about it. So give me one of those videos as an example first, JB. And this is courtesy of Easy. This is...
I kind of understand.
Jared Goff is back. Look, if you can see right there, Khalif Raymond is open. Khalif Raymond is open in the middle of the field for just a solid gain right there. But Jared Goff does not go to Khalif Raymond. Sam Laporta is open as well for the record. He instead, Jared Goff, will end up throwing to Amon-Ra St. Brown, and it will end up being incomplete. And it'll show that in a second. But Khalif right there, he's sitting down in the zone. He's open. It was going to be it could have been a big gain, it could have been a first down, but Jared Goff makes the wrong decision. Now on to another video because there's a couple of examples as well. This one I believe was in the red zone. Jared Goff is back in the shotgun. And you'll see when the ball is snapped, look who's coming open over the middle. As it continues to develop, look, Amon-Ra St. Brown is open over the middle, and Levante David is the closest person to him. That is a mismatch. But instead of exploiting that, Jared Goff throws it to the sidelines, to the outside, to Jamison Williams, and it falls incomplete. That was in the red zone. That was on 2nd and 10. That was the drive in which the Lions would ultimately tie the game at 6 with a field goal. If he hits Amon-Ra right there, he outruns Levante David. Who knows where he goes? Maybe the end zone, maybe inside the 10, inside the 5, and I'm confident the Lions would have been able to punch it in. Move on, JB. I got a couple more for you. This is another one right here. Sam Laporta, look how wide open he is in the middle of the field. And Jared Goff decides instead to throw it outside to Amon-Ra St. Brown. If he hits Sam Laporta right there, there is literally nobody even near him at that point. He probably has a really huge gain. Who knows what ends up happening on that drive? They end up converting on 4th down anyway, but this is one where it's like, where's Sam Laporta? Well, he was actually open right there. And for another example of when Sam Laporta was open and he just wasn't hit, let's go on to the last one, JB, if you have it.
Yep.
It's another Sam Laporta one. And this is courtesy of Easy. Jared Goff in the shotgun. Look how wide open Sam Laporta comes, right? He's coming off, he's like faking like he's blocking. And then right there, look how wide open he is at the 20-yard line. There is nobody even near Sam Laporta. And Jared Goff makes a bad decision. He tries to force feed I believe, no, this was the one where he hits Tim Patrick on the outside and he isn't able to get both feet in bounds. And for the record, this is not meant to trash Jared Goff or trash this Lions offense. This is to dispel the narrative that teams are figuring it out. They're taking away the middle of the field. And don't get me wrong, the Bucs did that at times, but the middle of the field was open multiple times and the Lions just didn't take advantage. And I fully believe that in this matchup against the Cardinals, the Lions will be able to get back to basics. I think Sam Laporta gets more involved. I think Jared Goff probably watches this film himself and realizes, man, there's a couple times I made the wrong decision with the football. And Jared Goff, as we've said, in this Ben Johnson offense, he rarely has back-to-back bad games. The team as a whole actually statistically never has back-to-back bad games. And this is why I am hopeful about the offense moving forward, because the plays were there. They just didn't always execute, and they will execute this week at Arizona. I have no doubt about it.
They will. He said that with his whole chest, man. And you know what? As I was sitting there looking at these videos, the thing that I noticed is this. It gave more credence to what Dan Campbell was saying. It's not just kind of coach speak. I know he has confidence that this offense can get things turned around quickly. I firmly believe that. But I do believe that what we saw in that was a lack of kind of chemistry or rhythm or timing. Last year, you have a couple receivers at the top of this thing that you are ultimately comfortable with, and a Sam Laporta who he filled that role. And I don't know if defenses understood what to do with Sam Laporta. But when you look at all those clips, you realize that Jared Goff is throwing really where he can see. Even the Sam Laporta one, he drops back. Sam Laporta's open, but is outside of his vision. On a couple of the other plays, even the Amon-Ra one, when he was coming across the middle, I noticed that there was a couple defenders at the line, and it looked like instantly, like quickly, he kind of checked into what he could see. You know, safe, let's try and not get an interception, and he flirted with danger a couple times in that game. And so that's where I'm hoping that even though you don't have a Josh Reynolds, that you get this type of chemistry down with these guys. Because the Amon-Ra one, he had an opportunity that if you know that's the route and you trust Amon-Ra to be there, he could have put it in a spot. You know what I mean? Regardless of the defense or if he could see. And that's what, when we saw Jared Goff in his bag last year, there were times when I was like, how did he hit that? Yep. Those are throws that we would, in years past, say Stafford windows. And that's what I'm seeing that's missing from this season. It's like something's wrong either with the chemistry or the timing. And that's why I give credence to what Dan Campbell is saying, that, you know what, hey, they're going to figure this thing out.
But do you know what? Do you know what really shocks you back into, just makes you realize, oh, damn, we have to get it together? Losing a game you shouldn't lose. I think that's where.
Yep.
I mean, seriously. I mean,
they should not have lost.
No, they absolutely should not have. They dominated that game in every statistical measure. They just didn't run the ball enough. They didn't work the middle of the field enough, and they didn't execute in the red zone, which was their biggest sin of all. But the Lions' offense also didn't play their best game also in week 1, but they were able to get away with it in a win, and they played damn near a perfect overtime. And like I said before, my point with this isn't to belabor the point that the Lions had many opportunities and missed. It's the fact that things were working a lot better than you think. They just weren't executed. They weren't always executed, and their running game, it's working. Ben Johnson needs to just stick with it. And not only that, in week 1, Monty went off. In week 2, Gibbs went off. You love to see that, but you don't love to see the week 2 loss. And all of those things are why I do not think the Lions will duplicate that again, because they make adjustments. They're well coached, and they will get it together at Arizona.
Man, I love that. And I know I want to get back into this next segment and get Broder's take on this as well. And I see some people in the chat who believe that Goff's struggles might be due to the O-line as well.
I mean, the O-line hasn't had their best couple games either. It's not looking like the dominant O-line that we saw last year, but there's too much continuity from last year to this year, both with the roster and with the coaching staff, for me to believe that will continue any longer.
Hey, that's right. Well, look, attention sports fans, and I know that you guys are sports fans. Don't miss out on expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. You can catch him every Tuesday on Big D Energy and every Thursday on Armani and Edwards, where he's offering you the top-notch injury advice. Trust the guy that D-Mac trusted for so long. Dr. Jeff Pierce, he's here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsandSpine.com or call 248-426-9944. And now,
let me tell you about Caesars Sportsbooks. Because what if I told you could place a bet up to $1,000, and if you lose, you get that bet right back? You would definitely think I was crazy, but I'm not. Trust me. Scan the QR code on the screen and enter code Woodward1000, and if you get if you deposit, you can deposit up to $1,000, and if your bet doesn't hit, they will put it right back into your account with just a minimum bet of $20. Download the Caesars Sportsbook app today, the official sportsbook of us here at Woodward Sports, and remember, always use code Woodward1000.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda? A chef for Lola? Really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets?
Nobody! The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
The Great American Chevy Week is back and bigger than ever at Feldman Chevrolet. Choose from the largest inventory of award-winning Chevys, all priced to move for the biggest week of the year. Get this 2024 Silverado for only $213 a month, or this 2024 Equinox for as low as $249 a month. Feldman takes the Great American Chevy Week to another level. Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports. Congratulations to the real coach of the year, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Just put your head down and go to work. It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun.
Woodward Sports.
Now, more than ever, it is critical for you to have your insurance reviewed. Swiss Insurance will make sure your current carrier is not slipping in anything extra, especially no extra fees.
Such as that baby will.
All you got to do is call our guy Mark at Swiss Insurance today. That number, 313-530-1698, or visit them online, swissins.com. Let them know Woodward Sports sent you.
Absolutely. And Salvation Army. Have you ever thought about volunteering but didn't know where to start? Start with the Salvation Army's Red Kettle campaign. Visit registertoring.com to sign up for shifts. You'll have an option to choose a 2-hour session at a physical Red Kettle site or participate in a virtual bell ringing shift to raise funds for the comfort of your own home. Virtual bell ringers can sign up and begin raising funds at any time. Traditional bell ringing begins on Friday, November 7th and runs through Christmas Eve, excluding Thanksgiving and Sundays. To sign up for volunteer shifts, visit registertoring.com.
And we are back. It is Wake Up Woodward. We're talking Detroit Lions. Big showdown this weekend. It's turned into what I would consider to be a big showdown. The Cardinals.
Oh, yeah.
They put some good stuff on film the first 2 weeks. And the Detroit Lions, we already know what the expectations are. You did a great job that last segment, breaking down that film. Shout out to Easy as well.
Yep.
Hey, he painted a good picture, and I like the way that you broke that down. The Lions have been really good at not stacking, these back-to-back bad games.
Yes, and just so I get it out there again, those were videos that Easy made, and I'm just breaking them down in the way that I know how. But Easy was the catalyst for this segment, and I asked him if I could use them. He said yes. And tune into the heavyweights tonight.
Shout out
for me. If you're not doing it for them, do it for me. But you should do it for them anyway because they are great.
And you know what, man? Great job there. And we said it. He doesn't stack back-to-back games. I don't want to assume for Broder, so I'll just ask him.
Yes.
Hey, are you expecting a bounce back from one Jared Goff. Talk to me about this Detroit Lions offense against the Cards.
Yeah, and I just put in the chat, all of the issues with the offense, all the issues with the team, like they're issues that are you can coach out. They're issues that are improvable. Like the offensive line didn't play their best. They didn't play bad enough where what Jared Goff was doing, like Jared Goff should have played better. It's not like the offensive line was that bad. But Jared Goff missed some throws. He missed some reads. Ben Johnson didn't call the best. There were a lot of things on the offensive end that didn't go right. And I'm not worried about the offense at all. At all. The fact that they have a defense which will be top 15. They may be much higher, but like we talked all offseason, if they're top 15 defense, this team's right back in the playoffs to book it. Mm-hmm. Like 1-1 to start to the season, I'm not worried.
Well, yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned the defense because I want to shift gears to that. First off, I think one of the keys for the Lions in terms of stopping the Arizona Cardinals is just do what they always do against the run. I mean, the Lions, even this year, at a small game sample size, are 4th in the NFL in yards and rushing yards allowed per game after last year being 2. And I know James Conner, he's a good back. He had 1,000 yards last year. He's had multiple good seasons, first with Pittsburgh and then with Arizona. But what did the Lions do to good running backs last year? I mean, Bijan Robinson, Kyron Williams, Kenneth Walker, Isaiah Pacheco, Aaron Jones. Mm-hmm. Yeah, some of those running backs had a hard time against the Lions' rushing defense, and I think that will happen this year.
Bijan Robinson is still looking for that helmet that Brian Brandt sent to the moon.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And he's helping lead the Cardinals to a win last week. But that's my own personal vendetta. I digress. Gibbs is still better. Anywho, or at least my homer in me tells me Gibbs is better.
It feels
they're both
dirty.
Really damn
He's
good.
on my fantasy team.
Hey, I don't blame you. That was a good pick. But I want to shift gears to stopping Kyler Murray because there's a couple other videos that I was able to come up with. Before you play them, JB, I want to make sure that I credit them as I should. Play one of the Kyler Murray videos of his highlights from last week because I think it's very, very important that we recognize what Kyler Murray can do and how it could hurt the Lions defense and what maybe the Lions can do that the Los Angeles Rams were not able to do. Hit it, JB. Behind the secondary and was able to get a big first down. This one was courtesy of JFG_football, at JFG_football. And the reason why I highlight this play is, of course, because it was just a spectacular play by a mobile quarterback who's got a hell of an arm. But also, when Kyler Murray's scrambling, when he gets outside of the pocket, that means somebody like Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't necessarily like that matchup for Carlton Davis. There you go. Absolutely. This is another one right here. He's going to be flushed from the pocket. He moves. He's rolling left again. They lose contain. He goes inside again. Goes outside. Gets time to throw, and then throws an absolute dot to Elijah Higgins. And that's another one.
It's like chasing a chicken or something.
And that's where the Lions are going to have to be very, very disciplined in their rush lanes. And Aiden Hutchinson is going to have himself a game, maybe not like last week with 4.5 sacks, where he's just as impactful because the Rams don't have that kind of personnel that the Lions do up front. So I'm not saying this is going to happen to the Lions. I'm just saying that Kyler Murray is fully capable of scrambling and making life hell for the defensive linemen and making life hell for the defensive backs. And as I said before, I like Carlton Davis. I like the potential of Terrion Arnold. I like Amik Robertson.
Yep.
Neither of them are guys that I think can cover receivers for that long. Someone's eventually going to get open.
You're asking for trouble.
Yeah, so the Lions cannot let this happen. And Kyler Murray, I'm just saying that the Lions and us Lions fans better be mindful of what Kyler Murray can do because he's a lot better than people give him credit for.
Definitely, especially when you consider that the Lions' last 2 losses came to quarterbacks, and when they broke contain, they found a way to wiggle a little bit, and they're not even considered to be some of the more mobile quarterbacks. Now you're talking about Kyler Murray, who is definitely known as a mobile quarterback, and not just mobile, but he has some elusive ability to him. Some of those plays wasn't him just outspeeding people, but also I'm going to juke you. Also, you know what? I'm going to cut on a dime. He duck, dip, dive, all that type of stuff between 3, 4, 5 people, and then he's throwing a touchdown pass on the run, loading up like. That's something that I'm hoping that by now the Detroit Lions are starting to have, and I think they have. When you saw Aaron Glenn's defense, he kept a lot of stuff in front of them, a lot of stuff in front, and And then it was on those guys to make good, sure tackles. And that's where I think a lot of times, if they didn't make a tackle, then we would see kind of what looked like some blown or busted coverage.
Well, and this is different because, Matthew Stafford in that first game, he was missing his 2 tackles. So it was a completely different strategy. And this is where the Lions defensive backs played well. They didn't really let too much outside, like they let basically everything in front of them, besides for a couple of plays. But against Kyler Murray, he's somebody who is a lot more mobile and has a lot more ability to scramble and extend plays. And I want to give you another example of a quarterback, because Kyler Murray, not only can he make plays like that with his arm, he's also can kill you with his legs. He's has 116 rushing yards this season, and his career high was 819 in his second year. The boy can fly. Look at Baker Mayfield. And I hate it. We don't have to go back to Brock Purdy or Lamar Jackson or Justin Fields or Jordan Love. We can look at Baker Mayfield. That touchdown drive that put the Buccaneers up 20-16 for good, what was it punctuated by? A Baker Mayfield scramble on 3rd and 4 in which he did that juke and was able to get the first down, and then a quarterback draw in which he scored a touchdown. Kyler Murray is more mobile than Baker Mayfield. Kyler Murray can hurt you more with his legs, and I believe with his arm, than Baker Mayfield. I think he's a much more talented quarterback. So this is just stuff to be mindful for. And for the record, the Lions defense played well last week.
Yes.
They just like you can live with a couple Baker Mayfield scrambles, even if one's for a touchdown, if you only let up 20 points and allow less than 200 passing yards and only 12 completions. It's just, I wanted to paint a picture of how Kyler Murray can beat you and what the Lions need to do to not let that happen. Just be disciplined. KG?
Yeah, so, in this game, Alex Anzalone may not play, which means if he doesn't, Jack Campbell, he's probably going to be spying on Kyler Murray a lot in this game. What does Jack Campbell need to do if he does start in that spot? What does he need to do to try to contain Kyler Murray?
Don't like my odds. But defense is a team game. I don't think they're going to have Jack Campbell spy or anything like that, which maybe they should have a spy. I don't know if Aaron Glenn's going to do that. I just think with Jack Campbell, I'm going to give one of my stock answers. Just be mindful of Kyler Murray. Don't let him run for big first downs. And also do what you do best, which is stop James Conner runs. Keep the Cardinals behind the sticks so that they're set up in situations where Kyler Murray kind of has to play hero ball. Because Jack Campbell these first couple weeks hasn't been great. And I'm not writing the obituary on him or anything like that, but this Alex Anzalone potential absence, that's one that makes me a little more scared than stoked just for this game.
Yeah.
But maybe Jack Campbell can have his coming out party, because his coverage still isn't looking that great either, and the Cardinals have Trey McBride as a tight end. Hopefully Trey McBride's never one-on-one against Jack Campbell, because he will murder Jack Campbell, but Aaron Glenn knows that.
And we know that the Detroit Lions were expecting Jack Campbell to take a big step. I was expecting him to take a big step forward as well. So this is a very interesting game, because the linebacker core is the one unit that they didn't make any improvements to, expecting improvement to be internally. You like what you saw to Derek Barnes, especially the end of the season. You liked where you thought Jack Campbell was trending, and Alex Anzalone has just proven to be an outright dog and a beast, both of them.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you know what, when you lose somebody like that, it's more than just can you replace the production, but can you replace who that guy is on the field as well, who he is in the locker room, like that intrinsic aspect, the thing that has other players like crying about the fact that he hits too hard or he plays through the whistle. That's a mentality that I believe matters to this Detroit Lions defense, and I'm hoping that somebody along that linebacker core, which is going to be very, very crucial in trying to, this overall game plan to slow down Kyler Murray and not let him gas you, it's going to be important that somebody steps up and has that type of mentality. I'm hoping it's Jack Campbell. I'm hoping we see Dick Campbell out there.
Yes. I mean, it would be huge if he stepped up. But you know who else needs to step up? Carlton Davis and Terrion Arnold. And I want to get your opinion on this, Matt Broder.
Yeah.
How concerned should the Lions be with Marvin Harrison Jr.? Because he had his coming out party last week.
He did. I don't think they should be any more concerned than they should. No, they shouldn't be more concerned than going up against Mike Evans or Cooper Kupp. And not to say Marvin Harrison Jr. is not turning into a really good wide receiver, has potential to be a great wide receiver. But like we said last week on Mike Evans, this is the type of receiver you bring in Carlton Davis for. This is why you go make that trade. He's better against the bigger body receivers. Marvin Harrison Jr., he's fantastic. He's not like he has burners. He's not the fastest, traditional X wide receiver. So I think it's a perfect game for Carlton Davis to get in his own personal rhythm. Even for Terry Arnold to get some work against him, a player. I don't think they played Ohio State, Alabama versus Ohio State last year, but the two names were talked about all year. So there's a little bit of excitement going up to see that. But I don't think they should be any more worried about Marvin Harrison Jr. than Evans or Kupp.
That's fair. Yeah. But Evans and Kupp are really damn good.
They are.
And neither of them killed the Lions. I mean, Cooper Kupp had a lot of receptions, and
that was after Puka went down.
Right, and Chris Godwin was the star of the Buccaneers game. But my thing with Marvin Harrison Jr. is that I believe when it's all said and done, he's going to be a better receiver than Mike Evans. And I love Mike Evans. The man is walking straight into Canton, Ohio when his career is over. He's never had less than 1,000 yards in a season. But Marvin Harrison Jr., he's going to have a rookie season like Justin Jefferson's, Jamar Chase's, or Puka Nakua's. And I do believe that he's going to get his. You just need to limit him as much as you can, but it's going to make it harder to limit him if the Lions can't corral Kyler Murray and let him run around and create and buy time and just scramble around. So it's going to be a tough matchup for the Lions, but throughout everything I said with the potential ways that the defense could struggle, they will stop the run, and I do believe on the other side of the ball that the offense has a get-right game because they haven't quite looked like themselves the first 2 weeks. They're not going to let it happen 3 weeks in a row. There is no doubt in my mind that they'll have a bounce-back game.
Yep, and I'm hoping that we see an opportunistic, kind of turnover-happy defense as well.
Yes.
Get in there, just muck some things up, create some things. I believe limiting the offensive opportunities of the Cardinals is obviously going to have to be the game plan here.
And you know what?
That's where running the ball helps too.
Speaking of which, if you want me to call my shot, Aiden Hutchinson will have a sack fumble in this game because there is not anybody on the Rams that can even touch Aiden Hutchinson when it comes to ability rushing the passer as an edge rusher. And Aiden Hutchinson, with his athletic ability, with his smarts, with his ability to keep contained, I believe there will be a play where Kyler Murray is scrambling around and being a little too loose with the football, and that's where Aiden Hutchinson is just like, I'll take that, and that will kill a drive.
Tell me this: is he getting home?
Kelvin Beachum? Really, Kelvin Beachum?
Yeah. See, sack, fumble, touchdown.
I'm not going to say sack, fumble, touchdown. I'll just say sack.
We'll take the sack.
Sack,
and the
fumble that is recovered by the Lions.
Let's go.
And that will be one of the differences in a game that is relatively close.
Let's go. And you know what? That's the game plan, man. I'm not even worried about the Detroit Lions. Like, I love the stoic confidence of Broder when he was talking about, like, of course he's going to bounce back because that's what they've shown themselves to do. And last season, they won some games, and Jared Goff played huge in some games that I honestly, until I saw it, and I literally had to, on some of those, go back and rewatch it and then watch the highlights. Like, Jared Goff and his offense and his defense really beat that team. So it's like, I don't go into these games where it's like, mobile quarterback, shudder. I don't go into these games anymore like I used to when I was probably a same old Lions fan, wondering if this team can get it done. It's like, if you talk about these preseason expectations, if you talk about what this squad has and they're all cooking up, believe in your team. I believe they're going to get it done this weekend.
Yep,
definitely.
I do too.
So, let's get into the next segment. We got
merch.
Who we got to hear from? Merch.
Yeah, you got to hear from me over here with merch. Look, do yourself a favor. Head over to WoodwardSports.com. Click on that shop tab. New designs are dropping every single week for you. But we still got the Stoke Not Scared shirts available for you. Also, the hashtag Boo Them Kids out right now, that you can still boo those kids no matter wherever they're at. And you can't forget about the Woodward Tigers as well, too. You picked up another win last night. So close to this wild card position. Head over to WoodwardSports.com, click on that shop tab, and I think, Flannel, you got to tell them about Les Stanford.
Of course. What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and offer more products to more people. This is exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC. The same great service that customers have come to know and trust on Woodward Avenue just south of 9 Mile. Check out Les Stanford in Dearborn today at LesStanford.com. Les Stanford Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
At Planet Fitness, you can get everything you need for just $1 down.
Try out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Hey, y'all better get on these free fitness training sessions from Planet Fitness.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
Join Planet Fitness today and get everything you need for just $1 down. $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends Thursday, July 18th.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
Hey, listen, Detroit Lions season means Woodward Sports watch parties and the post-game show, brought to you by New Holland Brewing Company. And we want you guys to definitely come on down and join us. Last season, you guys saw all the watch parties and said you want to find a way to be involved. This year you can at Hayes Social in Shelby Township. Come down and join the big fellas, the heavyweights, Spin Mo Racks and Easy, as well as Stick and Anson, who hosts a post-game show every Lions game. Every single Lions game. We want you guys to come down and join us. Come eat, drink, and cheer on the brand new Lions at Hayes Social, only on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. And this is brought to you by Tangerine Space Machine, Taller Your Local Long Drink, 1800 Tequila, Siroki's, and Sabbath Coffee. We are back. It's been a show. Feels like you're zooming on by. Talk Detroit Tigers and this amazing run that they're on right now. Detroit Lions in their Week 3 matchup. And as we talk about Week 3, what's your interest level in tonight's Thursday night football game? You got the Jets, you got the Pats.
I mean, I think the Jets will win.
Get to see Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. I want to see him lose.
I mean,
I swear.
I think the Jets will win. The Patriots have looked better though than we might have expected coming into the season, but I just don't think. I think the Jets defense will murder the Patriots tonight. Like I think they'll do a better job of stopping the run, the Jets, than they did in Week 1 against the San Francisco 49ers, and I think that's what will just limit Jacoby Brissett and the rest of the offense. So give me the Jets. I think something like 24-7. I think the Patriots get their ass kicked.
You think they're absolutely washing them?
Well, the Patriots. I think the Patriots blow. I really do. I think that win against Cincinnati was fluky. I think that they're running the ball a little bit better than we might have expected. I think that the Jets are just a much more talented roster, and this version of Aaron Rodgers is better than any version of Jacoby Brissett, and the weapons with the Jets have are better. And the Jets' run blocking, I think, has been better than we would expect. And Breece Hall is about to show out. Suck it, Neil.
Absolutely show out. Hey, what are you feeling about the Saturday night football game?
Not indifferent.
Indifferent, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I was like, when does Sunday get here?
Yeah, for real. Like Sam said, I mean, the Patriots, you expect them to be one of the top teams in the draft this coming next season. And the Jets, I mean, they had a slow start offensively. They started to come together a little bit last week. Aaron Rodgers had a much better showing this time around, and just that Jets offense as a whole. The defense, we already know what they're bringing to the table. So, like Sam said, they should have this in hand, but I'll be surprised. There's going to be some questions if they drop a game to the Patriots here. There's going to be a lot of questions.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, you know what? Still going to hold out hope. Let's get Aaron Rodgers a loss. But
please.
But, man, hey, look, I think some news that's more pertinent, obviously, to the Detroit Lions, when you talk about the NFC North, it's Jordan Love. Was anybody else surprised to hear the news that he was back at practice and that there's murmurs that, hey, he could potentially start against the Titans? I don't think that that's very smart. You have to own 2 Titans.
Yeah.
If you can get another week to at least get this man some rest, and get him some rest. But what do you think about this, man? Jordan Love, the Packers.
Well, I wonder if Jordan Love, how effective he'll be even if he does play, because it was initially, 4 to 6 weeks, or at least that's so we were told.
They said they were targeting a week 6 return for him. At first.
The thing is, the Packers, they've been running the ball really well. Josh Jacobs, I might have been wrong about this. At least I've been in the first couple of weeks. I didn't think he'd be. I think he was a little on the downswing. He's had a really good start to his season. And Malik Willis, he didn't F it up. He didn't do much in the game, but when you're a backup, you just can't F it up. And they're going to the Titans, a team that I think we're starting to find out that Will Levis might be just terrible.
He has moments of brilliance and then just utter like retardation on other plays, man. I don't even know what else to call it. Sorry, I know you should be using that word, but I don't know what else to describe it as.
Is there anything else to describe that pick six of Tyreek Stevenson?
Yeah, man. But it's crazy.
No, I think the Packers can win this game with Malik Willis, as long as they're running the ball and playing defense. So if I were the Packers, I would sit Jordan Love. But maybe Jordan Love, maybe he's just, I don't know, like one of those guys who just recovers from being hurt quickly, and he probably knows his body better than anyone. So we shall see.
We gonna see, definitely. But what's the other than like the Lions, I was really hoping this team would be 2-0. They could have been within a shot of 0-2.
Yeah.
But which one of these 0-2 teams, though, impressed you the most?
0-2 teams. Out of the 0-2 teams, I would say, because Broder, you listed the Bengals, you listed the Rams, and you listed the Baltimore.
Yeah, specifically those three.
Yes. The Rams are done. The Rams are having a season that just injuries have completely decimated the team. I mean, Puka's on IR. You've got Darius Williams on IR. You've got Jonah Jackson's now on IR. Steve Avila's on IR.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp went out
Open the hospital.
Yes. Kevin Dotson is questionable. John Johnson III, who had that big pick against the Lions in week 1, he's on IR. Their season's done because they're having some of the worst injury luck you could ever imagine. Stafford and that offense with an offensive line that's not intact, and Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua out, they have no chance.
Not at all.
I think the Bengals go on a 4-game winning streak. I really do. Their schedule has eased up a bit. They played really well at Kansas City. Some could say they should have got the win, but they didn't. But I think they're gonna. Joe Burrow looked really good. I think they bounce back, and I think the Ravens eventually end up. Even though I'm not a big Ravens or Lamar guy, particularly in the playoffs, I gotta believe that they bounce back and maybe win 9 or 10 games and still make the playoffs.
Yeah. I want to believe that, and that's why I was wondering, like, which one of those two teams impressed more? Because the Bengals is one that I'm rooting for many reasons, including fantasy. Got Joe Burrow on the roster, got their defense as well. They've definitely impressed me.
Yeah.
Tough loss against the Chiefs. The Rams, I'm with you. It looks like that team is bye-bye. But with the Ravens, that's the one that's the most interesting to me. 0-2 early in the season. Obviously, you expect that team to catch some type of rhythm, some stride. But this is one that I'm seeing like a lot more fans, more so than I did in previous years. NFL fans seem to be more down on the Ravens and on Lamar Jackson. Like, where is that coming from? Because I'm more in line with you that I do believe they're going to figure this thing out, catch their stride, get this thing together, and be the Ravens that we know by the end of the year.
Well, I think it's because it's really hard to make the playoffs even at 0-2.
Yeah.
And I know people laugh at them, but they're going to Dallas in week 3. And you might just say, the Cowboys are going to choke. But the Cowboys are pretty damn desperate, too. They can't have what happened to them against the Saints happen to them again. I mean,
back-to-back weeks
Mike
at home.
McCarthy might be coaching for his job. And I know that sounds like hyperbole, but you just never know with Jerry Jones. So the Ravens, I think it's because they're 0-2, and you can't really – that's a really bad loss to have at home to the Raiders. And playing a desperate – Cowboy team on the road, even though the Ravens are desperate themselves, they could be 0-3. I would probably pick the Ravens to win, but there's no guarantees in the NFL. You can lose it before you even find your stride, and that's what the Ravens are in danger of doing.
Do you guys still believe in the Bengals?
Yeah.
Like,
I
don't get it.
They were right there in Kansas City.
They're always right there.
I get it.
It's drama. From start to finish, it's drama. And you got the real Slim Shady playing quarterback without an offensive line. Zach Moss isn't playing well. Like, they have studs on that team, but they continue to just drop the ball.
They was a bad call away from winning in KC, man.
Yeah, and the Lions were a bad call away from winning in Dallas. They managed to figure it out and get to the NFC Championship game.
This is where and I get it, the offensive line in Joe Burrow, it's a tale as old as time. It's just there's a correlation to me with like the Bengals non-believers and something else. And when I say it, people are going to absolutely lose their minds, but I don't care.
Right.
The people who love Jared Goff the most crap on Joe Burrow the most also. And Neil Broder, Stick.
Hey, rewind the tape.
You call it the real Slim Shady, dude.
Yeah, because of his hair.
Okay.
Joe Burrow's legit. Joe Burrow's awesome. He needs to stay healthy, but when he's healthy, he's sick. he didn't exactly excite me when he didn't have his best players around him. Like, I'm not saying Jared Goff is better than Joe Burrow. Never said that. I'm just saying the Bengals are I don't believe in the Bengals. And it's not because of Joe Burrow.
And I get it, because when I was sitting there looking like at Joe Burrow, I was like, man, I wanna take Joe Burrow as a quarterback. But those thoughts, they passed through my mind. But then I had remembered Flannel Sam in here leading up to that draft, absolutely championing Joe Burrow. So I want you to understand. Man. Joe Burrow's on my fantasy team right now, in part due to what you said. But I'm telling you, exactly what Broder is telling you about the Bengals, that's exactly what I thought of him.
Well, and I've done a really weird journey on Joe Burrow because people thought that I hated him because people were saying that he was better than Mahomes. And I was just like, no, he's not. Look at the playoff numbers, for example.
Yeah.
That's why I've always said Joe Burrow's a little bit of an overrated playoff quarterback, because look at Patrick Mahomes. That's what all-time playoff numbers look like, although Joe Burrow has made a couple of really nice runs. But on the other end, every healthy season Joe Burrow has had has either ended up in the AFC Championship game or the Super Bowl. And a lot of the pieces are still there. Orlando Brown, I would like to think that he gets it together. Jamar Chase is still there. T. Higgins, who knows? I understand Trey Hendrickson, of course. I understand your trepidation. I think that the Bengals, because of their schedule, will get it back together. And there is no shame whatsoever in losing by one at Kansas City. Losing to New England at home, there is some shame, but I think it'll balance a little bit.
And last thing, I do think DJ Reader, that loss to the Bengals, and I also love Chris Jenkins, but I think losing DJ Reader, that's a big loss to their defense.
Yeah,
but
it is.
Joe Burrow's a fantastic quarterback.
Yeah.
Jared Goff isn't better than him. Jared Goff is our Lions quarterback, and I love Jared Goff as our Lions quarterback.
He's good enough for Detroit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Absolutely.
That's what it's about right there.
And so do I, for the record.
You do.
If it didn't sound like it.
I love that. Everyone raised to put it on record, especially after this last weekend in socials. It's like, hey, we're going to make sure
we love
that you guys
Jared
understand there are different narratives. This
Just
is how
so
we
you know.
feel right here.
All right.
We love Jared Goff. Definitely do. And, there are some 2-0 teams. And so, to me, the Vikings. Probably, in my opinion, one of the more surprising 2-0 teams. But you got the Chargers, the Steelers, the Seahawks, the Vikings, the Saints, and the Bucks. Which ones are for real and which ones are pretenders? I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this list, man.
I already know who Sam gonna say who was a pretender. I know that.
Who?
Come on now. Out of all those teams that you just named, which one does Sam dislike?
Chargers.
No.
The Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yep, there it is.
I was gonna say
ding, ding, ding,
he's
ding,
gonna
ding.
talk about the quarterback. You know what? You talk about it.
They can't score touchdowns.
Yeah.
They literally can't score touchdowns.
I was waiting on it.
They can't score touchdowns. Their defense is disgusting, although playing at Denver, but at Atlanta, that's impressive. I will give you that. They can't score touchdowns. And I get it. Either Justin Fields or Russell Wilson is an upgrade over Kenny Pickett, so you think that might correlate to the Steelers being good. But have you looked at their last 8 weeks of the schedule? It's murderous.
It's brutal.
It's murderer's row. So even if they are good, I think they're an 8 or 9 win football team, and I think they're out of the playoffs.
Giving me Browns vibes, and I think they're in the pretender category until I see it out of their quarterback. But they're giving Browns vibes of last year of having a elite defense and just getting by with a little bit of magic.
Yeah, I know Ben Roethlisberger. He lended his voice as it relates to the quarterback race. He thinks that they should stick this thing out with Justin Fields as the quarterback.
Hell yeah. Trade Russell to Miami. Send him on his way. Let's ride.
You know what? That sounds like a deal, man. But I know these Chargers, man, they're 2-0.
Yeah,
I know that Sam definitely doesn't believe in them and their culture and what they're building there, right?
I do believe in
Yeah, I was about to say,
what?
As I've said before,
go Blue.
Justin Herbert, he's got a competent head coach for the first time ever. It was literally Anthony Lynn and Brandon Staley.
Oh, who's his head coach again?
Jim Harbaugh.
Go Blue.
The defensive coordinator is an upgrade in Jesse Minter.
Oh, yeah, go Blue. Hey.
We miss him right now. I wish he was back in Ann
come
Arbor.
back home, please.
But enjoy, San Diego Chargers fans, or Los Angeles Chargers fans, enjoy the fruits of Jesse Minter's labor, unlike the Lions with Matt Patricia. But as I've said before, Justin Herbert, he's a guy that I believe in more than most. I think that he's been undone in his career by head coaching malpractice, injuries on the team, lack of running game and defense. But this year, J.K. Dobbins is absolutely showing out. You've got the defense playing great. You've got health. Nobody's on IR yet. I know it's coming. And Broder, they got your godson, Ladd McConkey. How are they not going to win big?
Exactly. Ladd's going to take him right to that division title.
Yeah.
No, but you hit it. I'm not ready to put them in the for real category yet, but for all the reasons you mentioned, I think they could be for real earlier than I thought.
I think they're a wild card team.
Yeah. I'm not even looking for Justin Herbert to, break the statistical barriers to take him statistically to the next level. He's now got a balanced team around him, a running game, and an offensive line. And now I want to see Justin Herbert. Can he lead his team to victories? Can he take this Chargers team to the next level as a very one of the most talented quarterbacks in the league from his arm? Can he now put it all together, all the pieces together, and be that quarterback? Be the Jared Goff of the Chargers, to just be the glue that gets all the weapons, the balls, that just mans that offense.
Be the moxie of that offense, right? Of that team, right? Yeah. And you know what? I do. When you look at kind of Jim Harbaugh, the culture that he brings, it's been awesome to see him doing a lot of the things we saw him doing on the sidelines and pregame and in practices at Michigan with the Chargers. And so far, it looks like this team is playing kind of light, like they're having fun. They're just going out there and they're playing, and they know that with this coaching staff and with what their organization has done to really invest in that they're taking this thing serious. Justin Herbert has to be absolutely ecstatic with the future of his career right now.
Well, and it's kind of like with the situation with Trey Sweeney when it comes to Javi Baez. It's not just that they got Jim Harbaugh, it's that they replaced Brandon Staley with Jim Harbaugh.
Yep, that's fact.
Oh. Jim Harbaugh's had Anthony Lynn and Brandon Staley up to this year as his head coaches. How do we feel about Anthony Lynn, guys? As Lions fans, how do we feel?
Horrid.
Who? Yeah. Who?
We don't even remember.
Don't even remember.
They were winless.
These Vikings, though, we got to talk about them. The NFC North, this was a squad that from the beginning of the season, I was just like, man, it's just something about them. And I think all of us as Lions fans do this because the Vikings find ways to just muck up the NFC North race every year. Either they're really good or either they're finding some way to just kind of be in the middle of things. And now they're out in front of things at 2-0 in the NFC North.
I mean, Sam Darnold looks good. The offensive line is protecting him. They're running the football, even when it was with Ty Chandler and Aaron Jones, of course, in week 1. Justin Jefferson, we all know, is the best in the game. Their defense under Brian Flores has looked great. I mean, I get it. It was the CMC-less 49ers, but look at what the Jets, look at what the offense did to the Jets and what they weren't able to do to the Vikings. Andrew Van Ginkel looks like a big signing. Jonathan Grenard, Dallas Turner looks really good. A guy by the name of Pat Jones has really stepped up. 4 sacks in 2 games, and I didn't even know who he was. And I'm a geek. Blake Cashman. I'm not trying to glaze the Minnesota Vikings. It's just that
they playing good ball.
I think that their next 4 weeks they're going to struggle because their schedule gets tough, but they've got a lot of good players, and they're well coached. So they're going to make things difficult for all the other NFC North teams, and they might get one from the Lions. We shall see.
They're well coached. Like that to me is that they have Justin Jefferson, they got weapons, and they got new pieces. But Kevin O'Connell, he's a good coach. And you could see it if you watch receiver and how he interacts with Justin Jefferson and the rest of that team. Like, I secretly gained a little bit more respect for him. I thought Kevin O'Connell was – I didn't like him early in his Vikings career, but he's a good coach. And Brian Flores is a good defensive coordinator, too. I'm not worried about them challenging the Lions for the NFC North, but they're not a 4-5 win team. They're an 8-9 win team, maybe.
They are going to make things difficult for the Lions when they play them. I think that the Lions will still sweep, but I wouldn't be shocked if the Vikings got one from the Lions and maybe even helped the Lions out if they get a timely one from, let's just say, the Green Bay Packers.
Good point.
So the Vikings will have something to say about who wins the NFC North, whether it's probably by spoiling it for other teams and maybe even sneaking in as a wild card, because that one against the 49ers, that's one that you almost write on your schedule as a loss, and they were able to get a win. Yeah. So shout out to them.
This may sound weird, but I think that if there's ever a year where you're going to have some pesky NFC North teams, I believe it's a year like this where the Detroit Lions, it favors them. Yeah. Because I believe that they're just head and shoulders above those other teams, though they could cause some issues. But I believe that those other teams, the Packers, the Bears, the Vikings, I think that they're going to all maul each other and really have an opportunity to mess up their own seeding or chances, and that the Lions are going to, at the end of the season, be clearly head and shoulders above the rest of the NFC North. They're going to make it tough.
I mean, even the Bears, they got away with one in week 1 because Caleb Williams was awful.
Titans gave him that game.
And he looks terrible so far. But this Bears defense, could you see the Bears defense giving Sam Darnold some trouble? Could you see the Bears defense maybe giving Jordan Love and the Packers offense some trouble? I could.
That's why I'm hoping they all beat up on each other and let the Lions just coast on through.
I could see the Lions struggling a bit against the Bears defense, but hopefully Caleb Williams doesn't figure it out by the time he gets to play the Lions, because Caleb Williams with that O-line doing all that scrambling, not working so far, but he's still young.
Hey, you know what? Shout out to Hoof Hard. I know we got to get into this next segment as well. We got to get cooking with JB Smooth. But Hoof says the Lions are going to punch the Cardinals in the mouth this weekend. I like this. This is that fired up energy. Let me start though. The Lions are going to punch the Cardinals in the mouth this weekend. It'll be a relatively comfortable win. It's the timing and the circumstances of the game.
Yep.
I can't wait, man.
And you know how you punch a team in the football the best? Run the effing ball. And they will, because they've been effective when they've done it. And they will get back to it because Ben Johnson does make adjustments, and I still believe that he is the best offensive coordinator, non-head coach offensive coordinator in the NFL. I still do.
Well, you know what? Let's take a short break, and let's get to some people's favorite segment of the show. What's trending?
As it should be. But first, I have to tell you about the Boys and Girls Club, of course. Join the best youth football league in Metro Detroit. The Boys and Girls Clubs of Southeastern Michigan's 3C Sports League offers youth ages 5 to 14 with 6 exciting teams to choose from in Detroit, Belleville, Highland Park, and East Point. All coaches are trained, certified, and undergo background checks. Register for football or cheer at bgcsm.org. Equipment, meals, and transportation included, all for a chance to play for a championship at Ford Field for just $175 per child. Put the youth back in youth sports with BGCSM 3C Sports.
At Planet Fitness, you can get everything you need for just $1 down.
Try out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Hey, y'all better get on these free fitness training sessions from Planet Fitness.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
Join Planet Fitness today and get everything you need for just $1 down. $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends Thursday, July 18th.
Thank you to all the fans for making Woodward Sports your #1 online destination for Detroit sports. We promise not to drop the ball.
The Great American Chevy Week is back and bigger than ever at Feldman Chevrolet. Choose from the largest inventory of award-winning Chevys, all priced to move for the biggest week of the year. Get this 2024 Silverado for only $213 a month, or this 2024 Equinox for as low as $249 a month. Feldman takes the Great American Chevy Week to another level. Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
How would you like $10 of free products from Dispo Dispensary? Screenshot this image with the QR code and bring it into any Dispo location, and you'll get a free $10 to spend in-store with a minimum purchase of $25. Visit Dispo Dispensary today or disposhops.com. Dispo Dispensary, your local cannabis plug.
And want to know where the best pregame Lions party is on September 30th? Join us at Detroit's very own Second Best Bar, located at 42 Watson Street for the ultimate fan experience. Enjoy some smooth Tullamore Dew Irish whiskey while catching the Woodward Sports pregame show, only at Second Best Bar. Come get some. What up, dog? We are back. And you know what? Let's just jump right into it, JB Smooth. Let's spark up word to Dispo.
Let's get it.
Let's go.
And now it's time for the most electrifying segment on the internet. Bum, bum, bum. It's What's Trending with JB. Live on Wake Up Woodward.
JB Smooth.
Let's rock. What's going on, fellas?
What up, though?
Nothing much. I got some more news for you guys because now it is official. Voted on by the NFL's players. Aaron Rodgers is the most annoying NFL player.
No, really?
Yes. Where Kansas City's tight end Travis Kelce comes in second place, as well as the Dolphins wide receiver Odell Beckham in third. Aaron Rodgers is the most annoying player in the NFL. What do you guys think about this?
I could have told you that. We didn't need an NFL poll.
Incorrect. And I do wonder, though, how much, Kelsey's inclusion there, I wonder how much that is tied to Taylor Swift.
A lot.
Yeah, a lot.
Because he's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's like, hey,
people probably get annoyed with the commercials and stuff too. So it is what it is.
Sure. True that.
Yeah, the commercials are getting a little bit out of hand. I will definitely agree with that, but they are slightly funny at times. I will admit that. So, Kool-Aid, I know we have been talking about, hooping up a little bit, but you want to run full court?
Hey, let me see.
Oh, boy.
Let me see. What's going on?
Damn. That boy toe up. What's that, Belle?
Shout out to Devin the dog. it looked like full court. That's long. It is like somebody cut the grass, please.
Right.
Shout out to Devin the dog, man. It looked like my Inkster courts, man.
That is full court for you right there. So I don't know if you just want to run that one.
Who made a basketball court that long?
Like why?
It was probably baskets in the middle. They probably got took down at some point.
You know what? That actually makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, because no way they making that long. That's longer than NBA regulation.
That's how you improve your ball handling, though. You get a court like that.
Oh, yeah.
Jalen Brunson's dad actually designed that court and has them out there, every morning at 4 a.m. You got to dribble on the grass
right.
so the ball bounces, and you got to react with your right hand too.
Hey, shout out Rick Brunson, former NBA player, but. Yeah, that's
insane.
And the thing is, too, whenever I used to play pickup basketball, I prefer full court because I don't have the athleticism or agility to get open in the half court and the ball handling ability. I just worked harder and wanted to cherry pick a lot. So shout out full court basketball.
Man, my lungs would be done after three trips.
I can't do the full court. Can't do the full court, man.
Come on,
half all day.
Half court all day. Oh, man. Broder, I got to ask you, bro. When is the worst time to mess with a pitcher?
The worst time to mess with a pitcher?
Yep.
When he's in the middle of a perfect game and it's like the middle of the 7th inning.
That's a good one, too. But I had something else in mind. Probably during the winter season.
Damn.
Nice arm side run. Look at that movement.
You do not want to get hit with that snowball.
Is this Shohei rehabbing to throw in the playoffs? This guy's got a good arm.
Yeah.
This is why you do not get in a snowball fight with the bait, right? Dude. It's like an elf.
Speaking,
it's one of my favorite movies of all time.
You mentioned Shohei. I just have to hijack for a second.
Do it.
This man's about to have a 50-50 season, and when he's healthy, he's a Cy Young caliber pitcher.
Yeah.
He's the best baseball player ever.
And he's not winning MVP this year.
No. Yes, he is.
You think so?
Yes. NL?
Well, yeah.
NL. Yes, he's winning MVP.
And he might pitch in the playoffs.
No.
That's wild.
Are you serious?
They're thinking about it. I wouldn't do it if I were. That's a $700 million investment. So maybe just pump the brakes there. You got your boy Flaherty.
You got that other Yamamoto.
Yeah.
He's good.
They got pitchers all over the place. Yeah. Just win it with your $1 billion bats.
Hey, Clayton Kershaw's back too. I don't think he got hurt again, but playoff Kershaw.
He's a choke artist.
And I love Clayton Kershaw.
I've always loved that man, but yeah, he just cannot get it done in the postseason, except for that 1 year.
Except for that 1 year, yeah.
Literally.
I love Kershaw. Get it? If it's not the Tigers, I want to see Kershaw win another one bad.
Did you know he went to school with Matthew Stafford?
Yes, he did.
Thank you for letting me know that, man. Shout out to Jeremiah Bayer as well. I see you. He thinks that last court is the Pistons practice facility. Come on, man.
We've got a state of the art.
It's actually pretty beautiful in there, but I actually get the joke.
That's terrible. And finally, I will end what's trending with this. Shout out to Matthew Broder for sliding these over in the Slack area. This is from James from our Woodward chat. He was actually out in KC representing the Detroit Tigers for us. This is his footage as well, too. His seats from the ballpark area. Pretty good seats, though, I got to admit.
That's Tarik striking out salvo. No, yep. James was sending me pictures and these videos all night long. Really just sharing the energy that was inside of Kauffman Stadium. It felt like playoff baseball. I loved hearing their fans get loud when the game was close at the end, and just seeing those reactions, whether it's Skubal, Hannafy, Herder, or Vest. Like, after a big win like that, the fist pumps, that gets a whole city fucking amped.
That's dope.
Also,
shout out, man. You give us a winner, Detroit fans will be there.
Exactly. And also shout out to James once again. Broder, he wanted me to let you know, and also shout out to Emma from Caseville that this is another one you can put on your list. I think she has a crush on you. I believe she's the girl in the white Detroit Tigers.
Okay. I got Broder.
I'm so happy she doesn't have a fish in that picture or some ranch or all the nasty shit you're putting in front of me.
Or it could be a catfish. Shout out Erica Stillwagon. Show yourself.
Right, show yourself.
Reveal yourself.
When we gonna play the dating game with Broder, man? We got to give him some love, man, because
we got something cooked up today.
He's a heartthrob,
right, JB?
Actually, I think we were saving that for Friday.
Friday?
Just because, this
got you.
Freaky ass Friday. But once again, shout out to.
We've been cooking something up for you, brother.
Shout out to Emma.
I'll bring the baby oil
as well, too. Oh, Lord.
Johnson & Johnson doesn't have any baby oil left.
Just walk into Costco. I'll take all of it.
Yeah.
Crazy Clown, and this was for you, brother. He said, now that's a Bo Brisky arm. As it relates to that pit the snowball.
Heat.
He
was wearing all orange. Is that a prison uniform in Asia, wherever that man is from?
I don't know.
Onward.
I don't know.
Onward.
That's it for what's trending. Let's get into some mailbags.
Absolutely. But first, I got to tell you about Mark White. Dreaming of a new home but feeling the financial pinch? Mark White & Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right, I said $5,000. Call Mark White & Associates today at 248-290-8242 or visit them at markwhitesells.com. Again, call Mark White today at 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true. And JB, tell us about Soroki's.
Oh, of course. Soroki's Crispy Chicken and Pizza has a new limited time offer just in time for this football season. Soroki's is debuting their fresh signature wings. Look at all those up there, all those sauces. Grab your friends, order a New York style pizza and fresh wings for games this weekend. Try one of their 7 different flavors. As always, you need to go over to Sorokis.com to order, or you can stop by one of their many locations.
Railing out with your Premier Pet Supply, man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda? A chef for Lola? Really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supplies has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets?
Nobody! You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the offseason smells good. Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Since 1996, Feldman Automotive has been driven to provide a fast, convenient, and first-class car buying experience called the Feldman Advantage. With 18 locations, there's a Feldman dealership in your backyard. Visit feldmanauto.com to find the location nearest you. Feldman Chevrolet, Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer.
And we are back. It's Wake Up Woodward. Like I told you guys, man, the show is just zooming by. Thank you guys, Chat Family, for staying engaged, supporting us, getting all your chats in there. It's been an epic time, man. We're hoping right now that Miss Stillwagon isn't hearing about these other flirtations
Gonna
out
be in
there,
trouble,
Broder.
man.
But hey, look, it's time for our Feldman mailbag segment, so definitely get those questions in. Shout out to Devin the dog too. I see you heard my Inkster full court comment. He said for sure, LMAO.
Right. Double rims and all.
We'll still hoop, no nets.
Right.
Oh man, we'll still hoop. But let's get into it.
Yes,
Make sure
sir.
you guys using hashtag Feldman mailbag.
We'll start with this one from Mr. Ed O'Neill. Hashtag Feldman mailbag. If the Lions end up 2-2 at the bye, how confident are you that they make it into Thanksgiving 9-2?
Not very.
So running off 7 straight.
Yeah, not very. Yeah. But they don't have to. Seven game winning streaks in the NFL just do not happen. I haven't even peeked their schedule, but Not very.
Yeah, and it's like when I look at some of the teams last year, some of the good teams, they all had bad stretches last year. Yeah. And KC ended the season, 11-7 with the worst record than the 11-6. I'm sorry.
Into the playoffs.
Yeah, limping it. Worst record than the Detroit Lions. And at that point in time, who knew what the trajectory was going to be? And so for me, last year, the 49ers, they at one point in time lost 3 games in a row.
Yeah, they had some injuries and lost 3 in a row. Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like, so for me, I want this team to go out there and absolutely mash every single game. What fan wouldn't? But I'm not going to lose any hope if they don't wind up 9-2 by Thanksgiving.
Yeah, they've got at Houston, at Green Bay, at Dallas, at Minnesota. I mean, they're going to win some of those games, but they're not going to not lose any of them. So, yeah.
How about this one from Herb Nash? Feldman mail sack. Flannel. What's more likely to happen this weekend? Hutch with 4+ sacks or J-Mo with 120 and 2 touchdowns?
J-Mo.
Yeah.
4 sacks is a 68 sack pace.
Yeah.
The record is 22.5.
You like talking about it, though, I can see.
I do love talking about it. But I just want to temper people's expectations. If Hutch only gets 1 sack this week, he's not a bum.
Exactly.
I get what you're doing there, because if it's like 1 sack, you already know what it's going to be for you the next week.
Oh, yeah. And especially if Kyler avoids him once and gets off a big pass. It's like, you see?
So quick.
I know.
How about this one from Shad216, Feldman mailbag. J-Mo averages 100 yards a game with 200 after 2 games. What week will J-Mo most likely hit 1,000 yards on the season?
16.
16?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
By the way, Shad said his bet is week 9.
Well, that's foolish. 16.
Week 9?
16, so that's when you buying the jersey?
Yes. Oh, I'm going to pay up.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to happen. Now that I saw his first, he's averaging 100 a game the first 2 weeks.
Yep.
Yeah, and if they right the ship with this offense like we know that they're going to spread the ball around and get it to their top-tier playmakers like Sam Laporta and Amon-Ra St. Brown. And I don't believe that that's going to diminish J-Mo. I just think it's going to take him a little bit more than 9 games to get that 1,000 like you predicted.
Yeah.
One more, just a question from Just a Fan, Feldman mailbag. Who has a better game Sunday, J-Mo or Hutch?
I am going to go with Aiden Hutchinson because I think he will do a good job at limiting Kyler Murray's effectiveness, whether it's keeping contained, whether it's getting to him a time or two, making him just feel him by hitting him, because Kyler Murray's kind of small and brittle, and that actually goes a long way. With J-Mo, I think it's going to be a big Laporta game. I really do. And it's not because Jared Goff is going to try to force feed him or anything. It's more because you saw the times that Laporta was getting open but just not getting the ball, and I think Jared Goff is going to correct that.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. I would say J-Mo only because of the fact that what you said, yes, this will be a Laporta / Amon-Ra St. Brown game, but J-Mo only need 1 or 2 to get that total up. And then I'm looking at this kind of game. Hutch may only have 1 sack, hopefully 2, but maybe only 1 sack because you're dealing with a mobile quarterback. So
you said it best, man. You said it best. J-Mo's that guy. It was what was on my mind week 1. Few targets, a lot of yards.
Yeah.
Hey, let's rock.
Rando Smalls, hashtag Feldman mailbag. Without a spot for Max Clark, could he be traded at the next trade deadline?
No.
No.
That is the prized possession of this regime. Like, he is going to be your 5-tool player going forward. So Scott Harris, that's who he's hitching his wagon to. No, they're not going to trade him.
Look,
zero chance in hell.
Yeah, I was going to say, I only know so much baseball. And that one even made me kind of squinch my face up just a little bit. Mr. Aura himself.
There's a 0% chance. I read it because it does paint a picture of how deep this organization is getting. Like, you're going to have to make a hard decision in the outfield in the next 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, it's getting crowded. Not just crowded with good young talent.
Yeah.
Like, Max Clark, Riley Greene, Parker Meadows.
Yeah. I feel you on that, man.
That could be one of the best outfields in baseball in a couple years.
Oh, yeah.
I get that, because who knows how much people are dialed into what the Detroit Tigers are doing right now. My love for Max Clark grew because of really this show, and I know how deep the baseball coverage is going to go, and for some of these other young players as well. And so for fans that are just dialing back in, they might be wondering what's going on. And so I actually like that, man, asking those types of questions and honestly spending the time to give those answers.
And you know who's never going to trade Max Clark? Scott Harris.
Yeah.
Scott Harris wants to give the finger to everybody when Max Clark ends up better than Wyatt Langford.
Yeah.
When he ends up better than Wyatt
Facts.
Langford.
Ooh.
Facts.
You've been making some declarations. The Tigers being good makes you a different type of a fan, and I like it.
And just for the record, Wyatt Langford has actually been hot lately. I'm not saying he's a bum. I'm just saying that Scott Harris really wants to. I don't think he's got that like egomaniacal personality or anything like that. But that is his I would say, going out on a limb draft decision, and he wants to see that through.
Yeah, Eric Allen followed up. I'd rather have to make a tough decision rather than have to overpay for a Baez-type player. Of course. Hey, last one real quick to you, Kool-Aid. Chuckle Cheese says, Feldman mailbag, how many Pistons will make the All-Star team this year?
One. K. Cunningham.
It's one. They're not going to get Tobias in there.
Mr. K. Cunningham.
It's K. Cunningham. Definitely.
That is it.
Definitely. I do believe that we have another future All-Star on this roster right now, in addition to K. Cunningham, but it's KG said it best. Cade Parker Cunningham.
One.
What a show, man. Tigers winning makes everything better. This is awesome.
It does.
It's the Lions. This is a Super Bowl team, and we're excited to talk about the Tigers in September. I love it. Sorry, KG.
No, you good. I was just going to say we get the scoreboard watch today because I believe Cleveland faces, what's the name, one more time.
The Twins.
Yeah, the Twins one more time. So
They're so irrelevant right now that KG's forgetting who they are.
Yeah, I know, right?
They've been fading so fast, they're fading from KG's memory.
Well, damn.
Ryan's reaction, that's a decent guess, man. I see you in the chat about that Pistons stuff. And obviously, as we progress a little bit closer to Pistons or Red Wings season, we'll pick up a little bit more of that coverage. We'll have some, footage for you guys as well as it relates to coaches, players, practices, and things of that nature.
And before we wrap it up, the Twins at Cleveland game is a 1:10 matinee.
It is.
So
we watch it during the
by
inning.
the time we've got dinner on the table tonight, it might be a tie, or the Tigers might be down one. But still, regardless of what happens today, the Tigers will make the playoffs.
Yeah, I love it. Keep making those declarations, man. Ever since you said that, it's especially they look the part, man. But it's been a show, and we talked about, like I said, the Red Wings and the Pistons are on the way. Let's see if the Pistons, this new regime, if they've laid the right foundation. The Red Wings, trust the eyes are playing. There's nothing more to be said about that, and you can see already that it's going to be an epic season. But the Lions, expect them fully to bounce back, and these Detroit Tigers continue to just do work. Get in, and let's have some fun. But it's been a show. It's been Wake Up Woodward and Chat Family. We appreciate you guys for choosing to kick off the day with the WUW Crew. Shout out to intern Chase and that dude Justin. They're part of this Wake Up Woodward family. Appreciate everything that you guys do for this show. Shout out to the Chat Family for being the most important part of this entire production. Smash that like button to support and share this stream once you've done it as well. Let's get this thing broken down. Our credential, Tigers reporter for the network, that is Mr. Matthew Broder. What up, though, bro?
What up, Del? Have a fun Thursday. Root for your Tigers. Root for the Guardians, which means rooting for your Tigers.
Yeah.
Have a great Thursday.
It was a great conversation. It was dope when we were talking about the Fetter stuff as well. Dope show, Mr. Matthew Broder. Up here we got the vet of the squad, Flannel Sam. You're talking about numbers and preparation, and when his teams are winning, I'm telling you guys, this man is fired up.
Well, I'll tell you what, too. This off day couldn't come at a better time for the Detroit Tigers. I know they're hot, but what do the Tigers rely on? A lot to make them successful. Their bullpen. Get them a full day of rest, and you've got Foley, Holton, and Brisky on 2 days rest. Love to see it going into the Baltimore series.
Yep.
Hey, you know what? Chest pass off the point.
I thought you were going to say Moxie. The reason there, I thought you were going to say Moxie.
Well, you know what? I'll use that word because we got a booth over here that is elite, wonderful, stupendous. I'm talking about some hard workers, excellent. They got that moxie, too. I think Baker Mayfield learned from these guys.
A little bit better than Moxie. I mean, come on now. This is elite shit you talking about over here.
Elite, man. The elite of the elite. I'm talking about the best of the best. In the sound booth, we got Detroit's #1 draft pick. That is KG, a.k.a. Black Hollywood.
You know it.
I love the show. I've been peeping at it the whole show.
Oh, good looks, bro. I appreciate that. Shout out to everybody in the chat. The love, we appreciate it, man. Keep the baby oil away. Let's not go crazy on the baby oil. And, let's finish this week strong, man. Let's do it.
Oh, man. Shout out to Women Sports. Hey, no baby oil, okay? Listen to KG. Shout out to Women Sports. Shout out to Women Sports MVP in the TD booth. That is JB Smooth.
You're just nasty with the freak off, KG. just nasty. I don't know nobody want no baby oil.
I ain't out here freaking off, man. Well, maybe a little bit, but not to those levels.
$24.99?
No, not to those levels though. I'm not going in Costco and saying, "Let me get all your baby oil." I'm good.
My man, Broder.
He might be freaking off soon though. Yeah.
Broder in the background over there. Hey, amazing show. Great week. Hey, let's finish this week out strong. And I know Friday is going to get wild, so I just already know it.
It's going to be a wild show. It's going to be a wild show. This is your boy Brandon Dent, a.k.a. Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter and writer for the network. Hey, and you know what? Like I said, they're right around the corner. But, guys, cheer on these Detroit Tigers. Root them on. And obviously for the Detroit Lions, it's all stoked, not scared. This has been Wake Up Woodward. We appreciate you guys for kicking off today with the WUW Crew. Have a blessed one, you guys.